Oh, here we are.
Hey,
There we are.
hey, we're back, boys.
We are here, guys.
Yes, we
Okay,
hear
can you guys hear us?
Hey, it's
Did
back.
John save the day? Can you guys hear us okay? That's the important part.
We were fighting off a horde of infected.
All right. It looks like we got things moving and grooving. I am going to move this along. Let me see if I can feature you guys in a weird fashion here on screen. Oh, here we go. Yay.
No buffering, including for Abby.
Ooh.
That's you're so awesome. All right, cool. Oh, sweet. And we figured out how we can show you guys as comments on screen.
Hell yeah.
That makes me even happier. Yeah, so we do that. Boom. And then if there's a way, where's the chat? 1 sec. We're going to get the last bit. Juan, can I get you over here, please? Where's the chat? We need this to be moving
Moving and a grooving.
like as the chat. All right, cool. All right, we're going to start this all over again. What we're going to do is we're going to act like we did not have any tech problems, and we're just
Nope.
going to have fun with this, guys.
That's right.
Because it's kind of like nonstop tech issues. Like right now, we're trying to get your chats to actually load. So let's just go into this right away. I see, guys, in we did The Last of Us, so we have the blind reactors. They're going to be coming in here at 2:00 p.m., so that is in 1 hour or so. You're stuck with us for the next 1 hour
Dun, dun,
of this time. Now, you guys have played the game. You guys have loved the game. You've had a wonderful time with the game. Now we've experienced the show. How are you feeling with the show after all this time? Because we got to watch it a little bit in advance, and I see there's still so much like. The part of this experience that I have found the most off-putting is how Bella Ramsey is getting all this unnecessary hate
Dude, right.
for much. Can you guys talk a little bit about that? Because what I find weird about this Bella Ramsey hate is how Abby was the thing that got so much hate when the game came out. And now to see Bella Ramsey giving it her all is now the most hated thing. And I'm not even sure where it really stems from, why that's
Yeah.
there. So, yeah, I'm just trying to like sort of figure that out.
It is really weird. Yeah, I don't know. Because I know some people in my own personal life that loved Last of Us 2, but are having a hard time latching on to the show. And I think for some reason they put it on Bella Ramsey, and I'm like, I don't really get that. That doesn't really apply to me, because I feel like for the most part, at least for the outline of the story, it's pretty faithful to the experience, other than the volume of violence we experience. So, but yeah, I think it's only necessary that they are getting all this hate, because they do a great job. And it's weird that they love Bella and Pedro together, but when it comes to her being the lead with Dina, what I've heard, like, people love Dina and love Jesse, but they're not really clinging on to Bella there. So it's a little perplexing. Comments are yeah, how do you guys feeling? Did you guys like season 2? Did you not like season 2?
Well,
Or also before that, Andrew.
Yeah, in regards to Bella Ramsey, I mean, the thing I usually look for when it comes to adapting a character, especially a character that I've played for so long, you know, when it comes to Ellie, like, is the appearance there, and does the actor, you know, embody the role? Let's get it out of the way. Bella Ramsey does not look like Ellie. Fine, that I can live with that. But
Most of them don't.
Yeah, agreed. But does Bella Ramsey embody the role? There were definitely times where in the first season, I think Greg said it best when we were reacting to it, where I just kept on comparing. But there were times where I was like, that's Ellie. And then as we got along more in season 2, Bella Ramsey definitely grew on me a lot more. And some really dramatic moments where I just was growing a lot more attached. Again, if you don't like Bella Ramsey as Ellie, that's totally fine. I respect that. We all have subjective opinions that we hold on to dearly, and that's fine. But it's, you know, like Greg said, the unnecessary hate, and I've seen a lot of it. I've seen pictures where there's a potato picture. I've seen pictures where I think it's Kevin James. I mean, yeah, it's like memes are funny and all, but yeah, I mean, she's got a job to do, and I think, or excuse me, they has a job to do, and you know, Bella's working really hard, and I respect that. And again, there's points in there where I'm really like, I truly feel that Bella is Ellie. So I personally like Bella as Ellie. I wasn't on board right away, but as time has gone on, I've really latched on to Bella Ramsey as Ellie a lot more.
I didn't know. We got a super chat here. We had one from S.H.I.E.L.D earlier. Thank you for the super sticker on the other live stream. And Ethan T, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey guys, not Last of Us related, but would love you guys to react to Better Man, specifically Greg, John, and Roxy. Truly believe you guys will love it. Truly underrated. Love as always. Thank you. Your request has been filed into the reaction consideration box. Really appreciate it.
Boop, bop, boop.
Which one's Better Man again?
No idea what that is, but it seems like a good time.
Sounds like the
It's a
character.
biopic, and there's a particular element that makes it unique. But I won't
Sounds like the
spoil that for
character
you.
from Grandma's Boy.
So Nikki XO saying it's the writer's fault, not only Bella. I hate that season 2's shitty watered down writing is being used as ammunition to attack Bella. If don't hate Bella, but sometimes I found her more over the top than the game version, which can annoy me because there's
Well, at least the love part happened before they even go on, and it was more of an inconvenience in the game. So I think that's part of it, or at least why some people are having issues. I personally like the fact that we're adding some layers of complexity to her, because I feel like, her just being kind of steadfast, focused, and then in the face of this addiction that, this drug called violence and revenge that she's on, it's all pretty straightforward. But her being able to, see
that I personally felt was sort of missing. Even if I hadn't played the game, I would kind of feel like it's missing for a bit of a ramp up. And I think from what comments are at least saying is intentionality may have been glossed over, or intentionality might have been overlooked. A better performer. If the goal is that you want them to do a better job, being a harassment bully online is not going to fucking get the job done. So I think it's a bunch of bullshit what they do. I think it's horrible treatment to do to another individual. It's like people forget just because they're an actor or something that they're also a goddamn human being, and it just doesn't make sense to me to like treat another human being like this over a video game character. But sorry, Andrew, is there something you wanted to add to that?
No, that's a good point. I've never, even if I don't particularly like a performance, amen, I don't think like writing to that actor or even putting it out there. I mean, again, you can have your opinion, but you don't need to have I mean, constructive criticism is totally fine, but I don't think you need to have such hate, vitriol towards a human being for giving it their all. I agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's just say that I was talking earlier when everything, I realized you guys probably couldn't hear most of what we were saying, is that I don't agree with bullying a human being online and trying to shame them into doing a better job. So people who are taking that approach of Bella Ramsey, not saying you have to like their work, you can be critical of their work, but you're smart enough to know, at least I hope you are smart enough to know when you're being an abusive asshole with your words, when your words are intending to hurt another person. And yeah, I think it's a classic case of cyberbullying for some reason with Bella Ramsey getting all the blame in the world for everything. And that's the part of it where I'm like, yeah, I mean, do I prefer Ellie in the game over Bella Ramsey? Kind of by a lot, I do. Not kind of, like most definitely, but I wouldn't by no means stoop to this level of like, I'm gonna try to like rage bait and drive views and also just attack on X and Instagram this one individual. I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's really, really bad. So that's just my opinion about it. Let's try to get this. I'm admittedly just trying to act like I'm totally like not thrown off my flow here at all here. Yeah, I'm going to bring the chat back on screen. Don't you fret.
Flowing, guys.
I just got to pull it up here. Window capture. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. John, which one is it again? This one? Nope, that's the wrong one. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to bring you guys back up on the chat here. We pop out that chat.
Yeah, baby.
Don't worry, you guys. We're going to make this so sexy. We're going to make this so sexy for y'all.
Bow chugga wow wow.
Booyah. Okay. Yay.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You guys talk. Holy shit.
I really enjoyed the show version of Ellie because I think it allowed for us to see some dynamics in Ellie's journey internally. You know, she has these conflicting feelings about the things that she's doing in the face of the knowledge that she has possessed the whole time. And having that intention of seeking revenge, of using violence to address grief, you're also met with the future of possibility with now being a parent potentially with the girl that you love. So those two things not only culminating in love while on the journey, but finding out that you're going to be a parent on that journey in the face of taking life, you're finding out you have the possibility of having a new one. I feel like those two things happening in tandem rather than it being an annoyance in what she's trying to do, I think allows for something to be more interesting and then creates something that is more tragic because it's the seeds of that decision of the dichotomy of potentials of two outcomes are presented earlier in the story. So
Yeah.
that really worked for me. Now I think another part of things that people had an issue with, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you disagree, that with adaptation, you know, you have to adjust certain things. I liked Dina in the game, but I wasn't really super attached to Dina. I was attached to Dina because Ellie was attached to Dina. But I think the show has to do a job of getting you to like this character, even if she is not just solely, you know, the thing that or the person that Ellie's on journey with. Now, in that, you have to create a circumstance which becomes more vital. So what they do is make her more competent and Ellie more drive. So I think in the taking some of those qualities away from Ellie to give them to Dina, it makes her seem a lot more rational in her journey, which I guess could translate to her not being as likable. And because you're not seeing her take out as many people, you're not seeing the what's it called? You're not seeing that id in practice with how capable she is more frequently. It creates this sense of, okay, she's not as equipped for this mission, for this journey, as Ellie is in the game. But I think for me, it makes it more human. The fact that Bella Ramsey does look younger than Ellie in the game, I think accentuates that feeling of, oh, these two are way in over their head. They're just two kids trying to go against an army to find one person. Like, the whole journey is pretty rational. So I think that because it's adapted for a different medium, it accentuates some of that, but also her writing being altered to make Dina punched up is a casualty of that.
I still was attached to the video game version of Dina, but I definitely like what we got here a lot more in the show because we get the backstory, obviously, in her in New Mexico, where we find out.
Can you put this closer?
Yep, sorry. Well, I like that backstory we got a lot with, I think she said it was in Santa Fe with her mother and her sister. And, you know, again, we see a lot of that parallel between her and Ellie where, you know, they dealt with a lot of the same thing. And also, I like that personal, you know, connection that she has with Joel. So it makes her going on the trip, again, it feels more personal as well with Dina going with Ellie, besides the fact that in the first game it's more she's just going with Ellie because Ellie needs her to, and she wants to, obviously, because she's in love with Ellie. But now it's Joel's like a father figure to her, so now she really has to go. And I thought it was interesting, too, in episode 5, I think there's a line from Dina as well, where she says, it doesn't matter what they've done, like they deserve what's coming to them. And then I think it's in the finale episode where she said something along the lines of, you know, we need to get out of here. I think like she was having the realization, the contrast, like this only ends one way type of thing. And also that one way. So I think that, you know, she was taking a more mature approach towards the whole situation as they were going along, and then realizing, like you were saying, Aaron, they're up against an army. So it's like, what can we do here? And I think that was an interesting way to grow the character as the episodes were going along. So I think we got a lot more interesting beats here with Dina than we did in the video game. But I still really still like the video game version. But I like the reason I love the TV show also is because we've mentioned it so many times where they hit the major beat points and then they do their own thing, Mazin and Druckmann. But now when I play the video games, I can add these things. I can add that backstory. I can add, you know, with Isaac or whatever. And I like that I can fill in these gaps here that I didn't get in the game.
$5. Anything from $1 to $5, I know can be life or death for a lot of people. And to me, it's no small feat. So thank you to anyone who is contributing our way that amount, no matter how small to big, because big can mean a lot to a lot of people. You know, it give $5 can mean could be a big number to a lot of people. So thank you. It doesn't go unrecognized. Really do appreciate it. This is a very disjointed stream. I apologize. I am feeling very mad at the moment. I can't lie. I am feeling very angry at the not angry at anyone. I'm angry at I'm really mad at the situation right now. I'm actually kind of pissed off at the situation. So sorry. I don't want to just be here to like hide your anger. I am very angry at the situation right now.
Like Ellie, we got to repress her.
Yeah, we do that whole thing of like, be honest with your feelings beforehand. And I'm not gonna lie. This is like really put me in a very angry mindset at the moment.
Take revenge on the YouTube gods, on the stream gods.
But no, yeah, thank you, Goldfish. It is specifically Aaron that I am pissed off at.
Yep.
Why did you do this, Aaron?
Goldfish tried. I want everyone to see. Goldfish tried retracting this message, but oh mother f word! You have made the stream. I have caught this. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh my. Okay, find his name. Where is it? It's right here.
Goldfish.
With passive.
I'm trying to pull it up on the goddamn screen, but I can't seem to successfully do it.
I see it. It's up there.
Yeah, you said it's Aaron that I'm mad. You can't hide.
It's the internet.
You can't hide.
Oh no.
You can't hide from me. I'm on to you, man.
Oh sheesh.
I know.
No.
I appreciate you guys understanding. I wanted it to go smooth. And the new office we're getting is going to have the crazy amount of internet.
Pew, pew, pew.
So, yeah. Oh, so true, Jess Vex. So true. You know, did I say to everyone before? I'm like, hey, we probably won't get too much super chats, but it's not about that. We're experimenting here with an after show. Roxy comes on at 2. That's what 2 p.m. blind reactors means. All right, we're going to reset the mood here. Now that I've unleashed my anger.
It's the primal scream.
Shane Games 07. Andrew, read it loud and read it proud.
Shane Games 07, thank you so much for your super chat. We appreciate it. Love the content, guys. Keep up the great work. Season 2 to me was terrible. Maybe episode 1 and 2 were all right. But other than that, terrible. Well, you know what, Shane Games 07, again, appreciate it. I don't fully agree with that. I think episode 6 and episode 2 were standouts for me. But again, I respect your opinion. I'd love to know, like, in particularly what you had issue with. But again, respect your opinion, man. What'd you guys think?
We obviously
You hate
the same as you, Andrew.
I'm curious to know why he thought it was terrible.
I mean, I would, like I said, it's not liking the show or not liking performances. It's the manner in which you go about the matter. And to me, I don't have an issue with.
I don't really have an issue.
I don't have an issue with a bluntness like that.
Yeah.
It's not followed by, fucking virtue signaling and woke agendas and talking points that some camps say. So, yeah.
It's so strange to me because I know a few people in my life who love the game, even with the game being controversial. And now the show is out. Even though it's largely faithful, they hate the show. But almost like I don't know. Granted, some people are more vocal than others about it, but it's almost ironic because you hate this other form of a thing that's controversial, even though you like the initial thing that was controversial.
Definitely.
It's all facts.
All right.
Joe Kremen, reaction request, Pan's Labyrinth.
I've never seen it.
Did we not? I thought we assigned people
I
to do a
never saw
reaction.
Really?
I think we're waiting for like a Guillermo. If you guys haven't noticed, we have a very obvious hey, what might be algorithm, harmony at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, we might just fucking do it. But at the same time, might make a little more sense to hold off for a tiny bit longer.
Want to see that one.
Huh? Yeah. Janie S.
Thank you, Janie S.
Janie S. What you have to do is thank John. John has been the one primarily handling this stream. So all successes go to him, and everything bad goes to the internet. Janie S says something neither reject team
Yep.
seemed to notice. What
I point this out to you,
You
yesterday?
did literally
was
yesterday.
the bruising on Abby's neck at the theater?
Yes.
No spoiler for the blind team, but it's important. Oh, is that from the rope?
Yeah, from the rope. I actually pointed it out to him yesterday because I saw it when I watched it the second. I was like, I'm so mad we missed that detail. It was such a good detail.
I'm like, oh, that's that's gonna come back in season 3, and it's gonna be play an important role in the progression of that season. So I'm excited.
But Bella doesn't have a rope burn. She wasn't.
I was
hung
thinking,
as long.
I was
hung as
thinking that
long.
too. I was
Yeah.
like, why doesn't Bella have, or Ellie rather? Why doesn't
Yeah.
Ellie have one?
Oh, that's a fun catch. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it
What a
was
fun
good.
way to get it. Easter egg to our way. Jackie Williams, thank you so much.
Thank you.
They said, Aaron, why don't you read that?
They made Ellie soft so that skinny Abby looks more dangerous, and I get it, but you watch your dad die. I need more bloodlust. To be fair, the bloodlust was there, but I think it's more about the intentionality of what grief does than actually, physically stabbing people and all the killing and whatnot. I feel like you get a lot of that in the game. I feel like you get that because she's like a killing machine, nothing's in her way, but I feel like it loses in adaptation, loses some of that impact when she's killing people left and right. So when she does have a more intimate murder, it doesn't hit as hard. But I understand what you're saying. It was it's very satisfying as Ellie to sneak up behind people and throw bottles at them and stab them in the neck. So I as a game player, I get it, but as someone who tries to see empathy and intention, I feel like it didn't bother me as much, but I totally understand where you're coming from.
Screw that. I want more dogs killed. Nah, I
They
feel
did
you.
omit
I feel
that
you.
though,
Yeah, I'm
which
glad, I'm
I
glad.
feel like
I'm
would have
glad.
made Ellie a little bit
Yeah.
unlikable had they done that.
No,
but
you're right. In the game, she's like the Terminator. But yeah, it's a little bit different here. But there's also a lot of sneaking around in the game too. So, but yeah, we did get a taste of it, obviously, in that Nora scene here in episode 5, I think. So, which I did like seeing that rageful side that Bella Ramsey rather was able to portray. But if we would have got a little more of it, great. But I was happy that what we did get. But there's definitely more of that in the game, and I understand where Greg's frustration.
how did you guys feel about them trying to make efforts to, even in the face of her revenge mission, trying to make Ellie more likable as opposed to the game version?
Were they trying to make her more likable? Was that
She
the
didn't
intention?
stab a dog in the neck.
I just feel like it was less hateable, right?
I think because of how short the season is, like by the time you get to that point in the game, you already killed like a couple of dogs, even though that dog kill is more personal.
Yeah.
There is a bit of more of a detachment when you kill a dog in the game because it's like playing. You're like the dogs are enemies at times when you're doing the gameplay. Like they're the
Right.
ones you have to kill, so you got to get used to killing a dog. So it would have a very different reaction if she kills a dog. Maybe she'll kill the dog next season or something. But if she kills a dog here, it's going to have a very different response than I think even the intention of the video game. I don't think it would go down in the way it's meant to. I think it would just make her unlikable in a way that could have been removed. But I mean, I talked extensively about it in the review. I do think that, they could have definitely ramped up more violence for Ellie because I think you learn about the character through action and violence, and I think the season did shy away from that. And I don't feel like she ever really had a scene where it was her on her own handling business outside of a little bit of the Nora moment. But even then, like I was kind of hung up on like, how the fuck did you get to Nora? Like they totally like snuck past the WLF, and that was like an opportune time to showcase her skill set and capability to pull off such a feat. They could have believed, where they could have, like she could have grown into an action role as the season progressed.
Can translate to progression of character and intention.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair criticism too, because like if you're gonna skip over her one-man army throughout the entire game and then just do it in that one scene building up to it to Nora, I think that would have been a good way to have her, get that there. So I agree.
Tim Sim says season 1, 4.9 out of 5. Well, thanks for the super chat, by the way.
Thanks, Tim.
Season 2, 4.6 out of 5. So only a slight decrease for you. So far, great adaptations. I think it needs not 1, but 2 more seasons, in my opinion, to do adaptation of the second game right.
I agree with that. And Greg
I think that's what we're gonna get.
rightfully pointed out season 3 is going to be Abby's journey, as we saw to through the 3 days. And then season 4, as Greg pointed out, is going to be the farm in Santa Barbara.
Yes. Apparently, if you refresh the stream, it helps fix the buffering.
Okay.
I don't know why that is, but people are saying that when they refresh their stream, it goes along a lot better for some reason. So hopefully that by the time the playback is happening, it will be okay. And yes, you're right about this. I want to just check in on some of the. I'm having a hard time, like my eyes navigating. I need to like pull this up here. Okay, so we're up there. I see. So I need to put it towards the top. That's how it works. Okay. God wouldn't want Tara seeing Ellie kill a dog.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth?
You know what? Here's my opinion. To all the meat eaters here at Real Rejects, which is everyone but me, if you bitch about animal deaths, stop eating meat. Otherwise, don't bitch about animal deaths. Plain and simple.
Oh man.
Some people don't like when I say that, but it's like we still fucking eat animals. You know, I don't. Do I preach to you guys tonight? I don't preach to you guys tonight. Eat animal. I never
Only
preached.
for every reaction. You made us read from the
Say-
vegan Bible like a passage.
The only time I say something is when you guys bitch about, oh man, they killed an animal. Like, well, yeah, you eat meat. You contribute to this every single day.
God,
That's totally when my righteousness steps out of me. All right. Is the buffering like super duper bad? Yeah, of course we want more of the sadistic killing. That was part of the enjoyment of the video game. Sadistic killing.
There's a level of being removed from it that when you're also playing it, because you're hearing the
it's
people's
fucking
friends,
fake.
but they're like, oh, freaking Craig, and like, oh guys, we found Craig's body, and it's like, oh god, and then Ellie's just like, oh fuck, every time she takes her knife out of somebody. So there's a layer of like cold disconnect from her actions. But she's a one-woman army in the game, so yeah, some of that is sacrificed and removed.
Diego Guevara says
you,
season 1 was a great adaptation. Season 2 felt like fanfic. See, this is the part where I'm getting a little bit lost here, is because season 1 was pretty faithful. You know, I think Bella Ramsey did a really good job at capturing young Ellie. I think Joel, I've said this many times now, Pedro plays Joel more. The game's more hardened. Joel's more broken. in the live action. I think what Pedro does is so different from Joel. Like, Joel has a whole crying scene with Tommy in the first scenes, and when he's like, please take Ellie. Like, he's so much more of like a human being, and it baffles me how different Joel is, and people fucking hate there's this whole camp that hates Bella Ramsey, but completely gets on board for Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
You know,
It's weird.
so it's a little strange, because I'm like, well, Pedro, I think, plays it totally different. Pedro's like not a badass in this show. He's not. And so to me, I think season 2, when people say it feels like fanfic, I actually can understand what they're saying. I don't personally have that feeling. I think though, where they've had this weird thing that kind of went a little awry is season 1 is a pretty solid 1-to-1 adaptation with some moments of major changes that they can get away with, like Bill's, and there's another half that's like, I think you kind of, there's people who hate the game who came here to hate the show. There's definitely that camp, but I think the show is I immediately got the sense of like they're a little bit afraid of how they're going to go about this, because I got so much on the line. They got to hook people for 2 more seasons. It's a very different buy-in you're asking from the audience. And I think right from the jump, showing Abby and the Fireflies and the amount of something that feels wrong when he's killing everyone, it's more bold.
Right.
This one is less bold than the video game, kind of by a lot. And I think that that can dwindle some respect, I think.
I can agree with that. I feel like the difference, it's tough, right? Because I get why they did what they did and trying to get you on Abby's side earlier, because the game in and of itself is a moral experiment, right? So if you're trying to adapt that to a TV show that's supposed to air for multiple years and multiple seasons, it's harder to get somebody on board for the quote unquote antagonist for a follow up season if you're not giving them the upfront for why you should care at all. Granted, it's been funny watching people watch season 2 of the show and having them have a similar emotional experience to most of us playing the game, which is like, okay, this is proof of concept that this worked. At least watching the blind reaction, a lot of people were like, oh, this is Joel and Ellie's show, and like, oh, screw Abby. I'm like, okay, what's happening is the desired intent.
All right. We got 15 minutes here.
Yeah.
Tim Sim.
Thank you,
Also, Isabela Merced has to be one of my top favorites for Best Supporting Actress Emmy, right?
She was
She
phenomenal.
was amazing. Yeah, I really love what she gave to the character. I really love how much she made me connect to Dina so much more than the video game version. I love the backstory we got with her. I love how intuitive she was, how fast on her feet she was, and I thought she was really headstrong. And I really, really thought Isabela Merced just gave so much depth to this character where there was not as much in the game. And she was incredible. I could totally see her for Best Supporting Actress for sure.
100%.
Hopefully. I hope Bella Ramsey gets a nomination.
She had some amazing, they had some amazing scenes in this season. Seriously, there was one in particular with Joel in episode 6. I can't remember. There was a couple scenes in there where I was like, Bella Ramsey is just absolutely killing it right now.
Alan Smithy says,
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan, for the super chat, my friend. Thanks for what you do, Rejects. Join the Patreon. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Thank
Bought
you,
3
Alan.
shirts, including Aaron Chesty's shirt. And watch your
Hey.
videos. Thank you so much,
Thank
really.
you, Alan.
Damn. Have you posted photos on the Instagram stories and such?
Please post the photos. Appreciate you, man.
One request, can you do more vomiting or fainting in your actions? Could increase views.
100%.
Yeah, I'll stick my finger. in my
We're
ear
looking
and stuff.
for Andrew to find a little bit more ways to stand out. That could be it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I think he-
I
Well,
do.
right now he's clearing his throat a lot.
I will do anything to help the team out here, guys.
We're gonna get
so,
Puke
yeah.
Bucket, get Andrew
Yeah.
on Human Centipede.
He wears
Heard it
shorts
here
without
first.
he wears shorts without underwear.
Yes.
He loves to lift his legs up and cross them, especially when he's not wearing underwear.
Free balling.
So,
every day.
Sharon Stone's my idol.
It makes editing a little bit harder, but in the end, worth it.
Yeah.
Anthony Velasquez says Aaron was drooling over Isabel Merced the entire time, kept pointing out her looks.
What the hell?
It seemed like he made the other two very uncomfortable the whole time with his
Wow.
sexual comments.
Jeez,
Yup.
Aaron.
Besides that,
Crazy.
Isabella stole the show this season. I do have my problems with the show version of Ellie, but Bella is still doing a good job. Hey, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. Fair criticism.
I mean, it's really hard to live. It's a thankless job, you know. Like you gotta, if you're gonna do something. I guess the part that I can see on Bella Ramsey that perhaps was a little bit missing is I think maybe people got on board. I think there is a thing culturally where it is easier to accept a guy doing something than a woman most of the time. I know there are people who actually weren't fans of Pedro as Joel, and I think with Bella. I must have said this at some point. Pedro was obviously really doing whatever he wanted and it didn't seem like he was taking any inspiration from Troy Baker. It's just some things just happened to come across like how Troy Baker would have done it due to the requirement of the role. Whereas I do think Bella Ramsey is trying to be like the video game, and they might have been better off just doing their complete own thing. Otherwise, you can never really match or live up to a video game adaptation role. If you're trying to be that, you think you have to unless, of course, you're like doing a Jeffrey Wright situation where you bring over the actor from the video game. That's the only way you really pull it off.
And Marlene, yeah.
Yeah, but that might be something for them to do. I don't know. I think Bella's going to come back and kick a lot of ass the next time we see them, for sure.
I mean, that is a good point because Kaitlyn Dever, she does a really good job. Like, there's times where she sounds just like Abby, and then there's other times you can see that visceral rage on her face, and she's really making it her own as well. So I like that contrast between the two. So I think that is
Yeah.
Pretty good point.
I have a little bit of a hot take.
I agree,
I-
Spider Pumpkin, with what you just said in the chat, though. I do agree with that, Spider Pumpkin. Please, what'd you say?
There's I think one of the super chats said it, but I also agree. I enjoy playing as Abby more than I do Ellie in this game. I like Abby's side of the story more.
All right. Fair enough.
But
You're
I
not
like
allowed
Ellie in
to.
the first game more. But I think it's ironic, both of these journeys start from a selfless place, and then Abby's story is in the second half is more of a selfless journey, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I like the way it interplays with the things that have already been teased.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love playing as both.
Let's see here.
Different play styles, like punching things as Abby.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're more brooding. It's almost like you're like Joel in the first game with that.
So in the chat, Nick Spider Pumpkin says everyone has an opinion, and game version of the character was done better. In their opinion, there's nothing wrong with thinking that. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with thinking that. Nick Bethel, yeah, I kind of agree. And that's the thing. Even if you're not better than the video game, it doesn't equate to you being bad. Then it doesn't equate to the performance being bad, even if it's not better than. It's likewise with the whole show wasn't Adelia. And I was asking her, are there any books, movies that live up to the book that she reads so many books, and she's like, no, maybe Lord of the Rings was the answer, but outside of that, no. So it's very fucking common. I mean, you're doing an adaptation. The thing though is that when you're doing an adaptation of a game, it's literally like a game is already meant to look very cinematic. So
Yeah.
It's much easier, I think, to do a comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's what these Disney live actions, there's more problems than just that. But I think that's what a lot of these Disney live actions run into. Like, I don't remember Lilo and Stitch, the animated movie. And then I watched the live action. I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then I see this like uproar about a change they made. I'm like, yeah, it didn't bother me when I watched the movie because I don't remember the animated movie.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I look forward to watching the new one because I like the old one for what it was. But yeah, I mean, I just genuinely liked it. It has a lot of heart. But yeah, if it's the same story, I'm with it.
Yeah. You got some love in here, Aaron. A lot of people are agreeing the Abby arc's better.
It's more fun. It's badass, and it gives you a reason to hope again. And I'm trying to be careful with my words because John is off in the corner. I don't want to ruin anything for what comes up. But I think that the journey that we are about to see unfold is a lot more intriguing and has a lot of lore, but also has a lot of character growth. And I feel like Abby's story is an evolution, whereas Ellie's is a descent. And I like watching those two stories come to head.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys. Tara and John will be hopping on here in just a few minutes, so let's do this quick. Andrew,
Yes.
Dino Gonzalez, thank you, is saying I love the second season, but not the part 2 game. The small changes just made the story make more sense for me. Will there be a new game? Do you think there'll be a new game?
I do.
Andrew?
I do.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly do.
So right now they're making it intergalactic, right?
Heretic Intergalactic Prophet?
Yes, and there has been
Or
not an
reverse.
announcement.
What if
yet.
it was a secret sequel to Last of Us? Like, you find out this is way in the future, and this has something to do with, like, we had to get off of the Earth because of the cordyceps problem, so then they had to find a way to a different planet. What if it's actually connected to The Last of Us?
You know what's funny? I was thinking of connecting a different way. I think what if they're doing like a Buzz Lightyear thing where it's like the Heretic game is based off of the comic that
cool.
Ellie's reading?
I like that more. Andrew, what's the real answer?
No, I mean, look, it could obviously be another Uncharted game or it could be another Last of Us, but I think we got to continue Ellie's journey, and obviously with Abby and another character who I don't want to spoil for John over there, but I think that is the answer, and also that's obviously going to create more seasons for the television show. I mean, if we're really doing this every 2 years type of thing, because we got another 2 more parts here, I think that's going to give them enough time to have more story to do however many parts they need to do for the third game. But there is they didn't announce it, but Neil Druckmann did say they are working on another game on top of Intergalactic. He obviously did not say what, or we'd be talking about it right now, but I have my suspicions that is going to be Last of Us Part 3.
1000%, man. Let's see here. Janae S., thank you. John, cover your ears for a second. I'm going to say something. He's got headphones for just this specific occasion. Show! Ellie isn't a match for Abby at all. Okay. Someone earlier was making a sarcastic, mean comment about how they skinnied up Abby to take on Ellie. So, in the finale of the game, when Ellie and Abby fight, part of the tragedy is of what I think plays into the conflict is when you see Abby is this frail, dehydrated, malnourished, gaunt figure. That contrast is like, oh fuck, Ellie, what? No, just let her go. You know, and I just don't feel like it would have the same impact because she's not a fucking buff ass person. Honestly, I think that's part of it. Is like that, like literally Ellie's part of Ellie is of. I think what the show misses out on in terms of action and violence is showing the two different types of fighters and violence that they have to do. Where Ellie has to use body weight, speed, agility, be more creative. Where Abby's kind of just a fucking bulldozer. But Abby's stripped of that when she's down, when it's time for her to fight Ellie, and it makes the choice of that feel a little bit more ugly when she's like, "No, I'm not gonna let you go. I know you've just been tied up here, but I'm gonna kick your ass now." You know.
Well, I feel like yes, and I feel like a lot of that was a gameplay mechanic, but I feel like Abby can still, as Isaac was saying in the episode, she's like the hope for the Wolves. So I feel like she's going to be very competent and proficient in her skill set as far as physical combat goes. I feel like the comment that Janae is saying is still going to be accurate, but as to speak to what you're talking about with that battle between the two of them, I feel like look over to the side. I'm like, is he listening? No, he's good. But to speak to that battle, I think that there are other ways to showcase that, but I feel like some of the impact will be mitigated. But like, you bruise her up, you cut her hair, you show her on that pole by the beach. I feel like it's still gonna hit, but yeah, the contrast is what makes it hit even harder.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't really not going to the finale fight, but just the fight in the theater. She really wasn't a match for her there. I mean, granted that she had weapons so that she was firing at Ellie, but Ellie had to be crafty and start throwing weapons at her to be a match in that fight. But so we'll have to see what they do.
All right, we got to get to ours.
Yeah, sorry,
we got to get through before we have to move on. Chris Guadalupe,
thank
you. Playing second game, I've always been Team Abby. I'm in the minority. I'm confused why Abby is the only true hero in this story. I mean, there is an alternate reality where 100% Abby is not doing anything wrong. Seriously, it really is. That is the reality of it. Is if you don't show if you never had shown Ellie and Joel's perspective and you only showed hers, there is nothing really villainous about what she is doing.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to what Gail was saying in season 2. Is like, it's not what you did, it's how you did it, which is what makes it so vindictive. Now, I think that, I think it's going to come across as really well once we see it in action. I lost my train of thought.
It happens.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say too. It's fascinating because obviously we know that Joel was, protecting his daughter at the hospital scene, but a lot of people too bring up the fact, which I find fascinating as well, and kind of agreeable as well, in terms of Jerry, Abby's father. He did bring up a knife to Joel's face, like to say no. So like, he wasn't totally unarmed in that situation too. So. It's all about perspective, and then obviously we know the cycle continues. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I remember. Do you guys think we'll see an episode to really hone in on Jerry Anderson and why he was so likable?
I would like that.
Would you like that equivalent of the Pedro episode?
I would like that.
Can you wait outside for a couple minutes? We had a lot of delays. Sorry about that.
I would really like that a lot, just so we feel that connection more and get a little more of that parallel that we got. Obviously, we're not going to feel as much like we did with Joel and Ellie because we spent so much time with them. But I would like to feel a little bit of that parallel between Jerry and Abby and why she feels, besides the fact that it's her father, but feel that connection between the two of them. I would like that personally.
All right, let's see here. As Jessica Samantha Craig says, hey, I just bought the first game. Does no one the show hurt or up the experience?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer because I played the game first, but
I feel like it would help the experience because it's that thing of watching the show versus reading the book. And when you're reading the book, it's only an expansive experience on what you actually witnessed.
Good
So
point.
I feel like it's only going to enhance it because, you're playing the game version of the show you watch rather than, watching the show version of the game you played.
Like I said, fills in the gaps.
Yeah.
Solid Boss 7, thank you, my friend. They're
you.
saying, hold on, let me fix this. It's really nice having an after show to watch each week after watching the show. So thanks for immediate uploads. Found them. Also enjoyed the podcast with Roxy and Greg. Well, you're in luck because Roxy is filling in for Coy this week on the Real Rejects
Hey.
podcast.
Awesome.
She's been harassing, abusive. She has sent me death threats. And I said, well,
I
if
believe
you
it.
introduce me to Harrison Ford, maybe. And she did. And because of that, now she gets to come on the show. And thank you for watching every week. That's
Thank
super
you.
kind of you.
Oh.
Leah, TLOU 2 is my favorite game. And while I have my issues with the Season 2, I also understand it's very hard to bring with life. Overall, I like Season 2. What was your favorite scene from Season 2? For me, my favorite scene is the porch scene with Ellie and Joel. That is such a hard. I saw online that people were, I'll try to make this. It's 2:00. Let's make this answer to 2:02. I saw online that some people were not happy. They thought that like they should have reserved that. I disagree. I thought they did an excellent job with that, and I thought it hit harder too. In a different way. Hit it in a different way, but if you guys watched the reaction, it fucked me up. So yeah,
You needed a hug.
Yeah, I thought that was a brilliant performed scene in so much of what the show is about. And I think if you're gonna take a break full-heartedly from Ellie's experience, then showing that scene early on, I thought it was great.
There's a reason.
And Andrew, please, what
I
was your
would
favorite
say
scene?
for me was the scene in that same episode where they're in the spaceship, just because we know that's something Ellie loves, and the resources that Joel had to do to find that, and also to like, yes, we know he spent so much time with Ellie in the past, but seeing that look on her face, it's almost like, again, Ellie could never replace Sarah, but still, it's almost like he had his daughter back in that moment.
Yeah.
But even having Ellie, but also to seeing the Bella Ramsey's facial expressions, her emoting, how excited she was, like in a world full of shittiness and chaos, post-apocalyptic times, like just being such an endearing and happy, tender moment like that. I thought it was just so beautifully acted and executed by both of them, and really captured the moment from the game in such a perfect way. I think that would be my favorite scene.
Yeah, I think the porch scene and the Take on Me scene are my favorites. And
That's a good one.
It filled me with so much joy. Then watching Isabela Merced act against Bella Ramsey and see Dina fall in love in real time was just so peak for me. Also, before we wrap up, I want to say shout out to Alexis, who I met at the Regal, who was working there. You were freaking awesome. He also had an Ellie tattoo on his arm. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Look at that, guys.
Probably
Freaking
can't
awesome.
really see it, but okay.
And shout out to the guy who recognized us and watched our Last of Us reactions at my uncle's memorial.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm glad that memorial was good. ISC. Thank you, Aya.
Thank you, Aya.
My biggest gripe of the season is overly explaining why what Joel did was bad, but then softens down Ellie's actions being just as bad for revenge. Yeah, but I pointed that out, right?
Yeah, well,
I was
they did it like
fucking-
6
They did it
times.
so many times. Like, here's what Joel did. Here's why it's bad what Joel did.
Yeah.
Just kept laying it out repetitively, and rather than letting the theme unfold, it was kind of like really just putting all the recipes out in front of you. Then they're showing you how they're assembling the dish.
Yeah.
I feel like they were hand holding.
Yeah.
I think they were hand holding the themes. Yeah,
Sure, I get it. We got a 2-year.
still
sorry.
loved it though.
Yeah, I get it. We got a 2-year gap, so it's not like the video game where you get to that moment later on. But explain it to us one time, 2 if need be, but you don't need
Yeah.
to do it 5 or 6 times. We get it.
All right, guys. We do see there's some questions here, but we have to move on to the next people. John, can you grab Tara? Roxy will be showing up a little bit later. I'm going to be off here to the side to make sure no one's being a jerk. And thank you both. Sorry for all the fucking conundrums that we kept
your
running
fault.
into with this stream today. Really
okay.
sorry about that.
It's Aaron's fault.
It's fine.
first.
When we have the new office, it's going to be it'll be much smoother, different quality, and we're gonna have like the crazy fast internet as well. And I think you guys are gonna really love it. We're gonna try to go in there in the middle of June. It's gonna be a little bit hard. There's a lot going on, but we want to do more live streams and such because they're a big part of why I like connecting with you guys. We all do, and especially for guys like Andrew and Aaron, they don't really do the live streams. They don't really get to do this side of Real Rejects, and I want everyone here to feel like they can really be a part of it more than just myself, Coy, and John. We want, especially you two and Roxy and Tara, to also be a big part of that. So thank you both for being here. Thanks for being patient. Know there was a lot of stress when you walked in the door, and I got progressively angrier as this reaction went on. So as this thing went on, so thank you guys, thank you. We'll just stall a little bit until I don't know where they went. I said, can you step outside for a second? And when did I?
Goldfish
John
pacifier.
and Tara, where are
Don't
you guys?
retract
Yeah,
that
let's
comment.
go. All right, you guys step out.
All right.
Thank you guys. No,
Hey, welcome.
all right, can you mind exiting
Tara has
frame?
arrived, y'all.
Yep.
Stepping out frame.
I
Thanks,
think it would
guys. Love
make
y'all.
most sense
too.
for
Adios.
John. Why don't you be in the center right now? Tara off to the left, and then when it's time for when Roxy gets here, John can take my spot. That's fine. Sweet, sweet. No, I'm gonna be here to make sure you guys aren't being jerks with them. I'll be on the lookout, and if there is, I'll step in. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. We're not gonna stop. The spoiler people are the ones for the the gamers do the spoiler reactions.
Someone just said Tara LMAO. Oh, because you heard me come in and yell, right?
All right. So John's been holding down the stream a bunch.
Doing my best. It's been a rodeo.
So can we scooch closer to each other? And then I'm going to move this here so that way I can have a spot. Yay, everyone. Welcome John and Tara, our blind reactors.
Tara.
I'm only going to be here until Roxy shows up. But how are you feeling, Tara?
Oh, I'm good. I got my Ring the Bell shirt. I was eating a couple baby carrots in the car, and then I started to choke. So I've been coughing for the last 10 minutes. But you know what? Sat down. I'm good.
Yay. Oh, look how happy people are to see you, Tara.
Hey.
People are so happy. Everyone, leave a like on this video for John and Tara.
How are you recovering now that you don't get to say ring the bell in the intro anymore?
She
Oh,
says it in the
right.
reviews.
I say it in
Hopefully
the
you
reviews.
guys read
It's
the
been okay.
emails.
It's been okay.
I hope people have been reading the emails.
I did. I was just saying it's like a staple of the intro.
It's true. Ring the bell.
That's what I
Ring the
wanted.
bell.
Well,
That's
then-
what I wanted.
There you go. It's for your live. It's for the
Let
live.
me make sure something
Go
here
in for the live.
because we have some. Hold on a second. There are some super chat Streamlabs that came in, and I want to make sure they're not spoilery.
Thank you for supporting everywhere, including the Streamlab.
Y'all so nice.
Hey. Aw, and thank you for the love. We enjoy blind reacting to this show. It's been quite a journey.
Really has.
It's been quite a rodeo.
All right, I don't feel like this is. I don't think this is spoilery. So let me try to pull this up. So John, I go to here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I punch this bad boy in.
Yeah.
We'll reset all this.
This, usually goes to, 300?
All right, hold on a second. Hold on, everyone. Booyah, shaka.
Or is it 500? It's like one of them's 500.
It's fine. We'll just read these really quick. All right. So let me adjust a couple things for aesthetic purposes, everyone.
You're somebody's spirit animal, John.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Hey, Reggie Wilson. Good taste in guitars as well.
This is only going to be temporary.
The Warlock.
Yeah, it's a cool guitar.
This is
I have a
temporary.
carving guitar, which is no longer in production.
Mike,
Aw.
thank you for the Streamlab. Mike saying, hey, gang, I think they should have had 8 episodes this season. Have episode 7 end with Ellie over Owen and Mel's body. Episode 8 starts, and we get the theater confrontation with Abby, and then her backstory on day 3. I think that would help maintain interest in season 3. what did you think, Tara and John? Do you think they should have? I talked to Roxy, since she's not here. I'll give her answer. Roxy said that she's glad they showed Abby because it'll give her time to prepare for knowing that she'll be part of season, whatever, 3. That'll be her focus. But how did you guys feel when you said? I haven't seen your guys' reaction yet.
It definitely seemed clear that
Rude.
that's what they were.
Yeah.
It definitely seemed clear that that's what they're telling us is, like, oh, get ready. Next season, we're going to see all from Abby's perspective. I'm not sure if I would want it to be like, I mean, I could see the scene with Mel, is that her name? Was very striking and was one of my favorite sort of messed up nuance moments. And I mean, I'm sure it would make for an interesting tonal send off to the episode, but if you had a complete other episode doing like the start of day 1 in Seattle with Abby, I feel like we got as much as we need, because it just tells you, okay, next season we're going to come back and we're going to see this whole perspective. And I feel like if we started doing that at the end of season 2 in a substantial kind of way, I'd be like, well, why wait? Let's just why even wait for season 3?
True. Sure. What do you think, Tara?
I feel like if they had done maybe 25 more minutes, we see Abby, maybe see what happened there, the explanation of her going out into her life, and we cut maybe see like 10 minutes so that people really understand, like, this is definitely where we're going, probably for all of season 3. I don't know how long though. Maybe. But I agree with you. It's like we got what we needed. We made the assumption of like, oh, we get it. We're going to be on Abby for the whole rest of the season.
Sure.
Who knows who else is going to pop up? I don't know how much more we needed. I'm with you, and I'm also not. So,
We needed 50% less and more.
Oh, thank you. Dan V900 is asking, he says it's a 2-parter. I hope they go into production in June this year for season 3. If not, waiting 2 years with the cliffhanger, plus Mazin saying there will be a 4th season, is frankly insane. Mazin said they'd expanded season 3 where they can just do a longer season. Isabela Merced said she would film next year, and I played the game. I just don't get where they can just do everything in a 10 to 14 episode season. It could have been a 12 episode season, and season 2 and 3 should have been filmed back to back. Well, I can't spoil for you guys of why this comment is here. Needless to say, the game is excruciatingly long, and
No one likes playing it.
And
it's
I think-
so long.
and I absolutely do think they could do 2 seasons. I mean, 3 more seasons I'd be okay with too. But I think you could wrap it up in 2 seasons. But as non-gamers, hearing that they are aiming for 2 more seasons, where do you think this is going? Like, where would you imagine season 3? What do you think the general structure for 3 might be, and then what 4 might be? Like, what are your theories on that? Tara, you go first.
Okay. 3, we're gonna take a long freaking time to dive into Abby's life and see what's going on there, the lead up to her dad dying, us being on her side as so hard as we were on Pedro Pascal's side. Like when he died, maybe with their writing, and because they're good at bringing out emotion within the audience, get us on her side. Maybe we're real mad now that her dad died. And then cut back to maybe they'll end on a cliffhanger for 3, and then maybe we finally get to see the resolve with Abby and Elle. I don't know. And then 4 would just be where Elle and Abby are now currently.
All right.
That's my guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty solid guess. We do everything. We do the Rashomon up until the point where at least we get to Salt Lake City, and then fill in the gaps, the blanks. All right, we
All right.
have. Let's
Hey,
get a
guys,
drum roll
we
Roxy
have
going.
Sauce is here.
What do you
Drum
need?
roll, please.
LFG.
Roxy will be here in about 1 to 2 minutes. Sorry, Rox, I'm going to be sitting here. I got to monitor spoilers.
Doing that drum
1
roll.
second,
Doing
John.
that
We
drum
should share headphone 3 together, John.
We should.
Yeah. Let Roxy have that. Here you go.
Okay.
Okay, so down here, let me get that cord.
Me move? Okay.
All right.
Hello.
What was the question? Yes, season 3, I think will give us that Rashomon following Abby up until at least the point of Salt Lake City, And then I think that season 4 will be the kind of back in the present, Ellie and Abby getting to
Bo.
know each other, getting intimate, falling in love. Who knows? I have no idea. But I have to imagine that, yeah, we're going to do a big Rashomon, and then we're going to come back. But I am even more interested soon enough to hear what Roxanne thinks.
Let's
the
ask
next-
Rossi the question in just a second. Let her
Yes.
get settled in, people.
Let her do her rituals.
She's got red boots on. They're
She
cool.
does. She does.
They're awesome.
Musical
Thanks,
chairs. And somebody asked in the chat, I do play games sometimes. Not very, I don't get chances to very often, but I haven't played these games, but I do like games.
The only game I ever played was Left 4 Dead, y'all. Back in like the early 2000s, I got obsessed with it, and then I was like, I can't be having this Xbox in my house. It's not gonna be good for me.
Hey, everyone. Welcome, Roxy Stryer.
Hi, I have literally no idea what we're doing, but I'm so happy.
We're
to be
just
here.
answering questions, and I'm here to help make sure you don't get shit spoiled.
Oh.
that's
About
all.
The Last of Us.
Not The Last of Us here.
You did tell me that, Tara. You said we're doing Last of Us.
I'll backtrack here for just a second, just to
We
get.
both have red on.
I
You've got
know.
red on you.
That's why when I saw her boots, I was like,
I
I
understand.
could be
I'm
wearing those with
jumping
my
in
outfit.
the middle. Yeah, look at us.
We so cute.
Andrew just told me that his favorite shirt of all the shirts that we've ever made, that any shop has ever sold, is this shirt. Yeah.
Well, it does have our shirt
And-
on me
and then
that
he
we
told
made
me
together.
That he expects you to buy it for him for his
He
birthday on
does.
July 11th.
He does.
Which is what we had to do last year.
He does.
Okay.
Dude, people are chuffed that you've played Left 4 Dead.
They like it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
people are
you guys
chuffed.
remember? Dude, I dressed up one Halloween. I loved it so much. I dressed up as the girl. I made the outfit, and you know, she has like a necklace, a thing, and I made like a pack, and people were like, "Who are you?" And only a few people got it at the time. It was a long time
Picture.
ago. Long
Picture, it
time.
didn't happen.
I need to find it. I don't know if I took. Yeah, I gotta find it. But yeah, I love Left 4 Dead.
All right. Oh, wait, no, really quick. I wanted to get, since you guys were answering this question, Roxy, I asked you the other day, and they were asking a question similar here. I asked you the other day about how'd you feel with seeing the Abby ending and in season at the end of season 2, and you had said something to me about how you like that because it prepares you, where some people are feeling like they shouldn't have shown that. Do you want to like kind of give your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I said two things to you about that. Number one is that I think variety is the spice of life, and in going from season 1 to season 2, we didn't have Joel die end of season 1, start season 2 fresh. So because we didn't do that, what they did was episode 2 hit us with a huge bang, which if the game was ultimately going to end up with us going to Abby's perspective, I didn't want to see the exact same thing for season 3, where we don't get to that until episode 2 of season 3. It would have been too similar to what we just had with a big shock, Jesse's big death episode. I still can't say it without feeling like I'm going to punch somebody. Episode 2 of season 3. So I feel like it was really important that they didn't just hit the same exact structure that we just had. But then also, yeah, I don't want to go into an entire season thinking that we're getting a show where we are watching Ellie's perspective on revenge. She's going after revenge. And we've got our players, which are Tommy, Jesse, Dina, Ellie, Maria. And then they're all against the wolves, essentially. Like, that's what we would have gone in thinking. And so I need a little bit of time. I think it's way better that they did this. And you want to know what? People are going to be pissed about this. But while I'm on my soapbox monologuing, Greg, your people, the gamers, you and your people, the gamer community, y'all are up on your high horse. It is so annoying talking to gamers, not you three, but in general, they're like, the game did this, but how could you even appreciate it? The show is sucking at it. It's nothing compared to the game. And I'm like, I can't stand you guys. Like, just let me enjoy what I'm enjoying. I'm happy for you if you like the game better. That's awesome. It still exists. But, like, can't I just enjoy the thing I'm enjoying?
Well,
The
also,
gamers, ugh.
we
No,
didn't
there's
play
a
the
right
game.
and a wrong way to do it.
Apparently. Yeah, but we didn't. We didn't play the game.
We're not the gamers. So if you're gonna come at us about the game, you hitting up the wrong people, yo. Okay.
Yeah, and every time they're like, "See, they know nothing," and it's like,
Yeah,
yes,
because we didn't play the freaking game,
that,
yo.
that's the point.
It's in the
we
title.
know
It's a
nothing.
blind reaction.
I
We
mean,
know nothing.
That's what a blind reaction means, y'all. Just in case
you guys
didn't
forgot
know.
Tommy knew about Ellie. Remember that day?
Oh yeah, we did overlook
Oh.
that Tommy already knew about Ellie.
Yes.
Yeah, but I
there are
started the
thing-
video correcting that. Not one person talked about the fact that I was like, "Let me come clean about something." Everybody just, yeah. People be
Guys,
peopling.
you gotta be easy. Give us a break. We're not perfect.
Next season, before every episode, I'm gonna do a full series rewatch, not just before
Yeah.
the show itself.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it
That's
before every episode.
every episode. Yep.
All right. We had some super chats that had come in. Can you guys help us finish these off? And then,
LFG.
please feel free to send in more as well.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Super
Welcome.
chatty.
Team
$20.
Caboozles says, in my opinion, they should have made Abby's motivation a reveal. I think having that twist would get the audience to sympathize more than the setup in episode 1 and 2. Do you guys understand the question? Yeah?
Yeah, I agree with this.
Yeah.
I agree with this take. I like the concept that they have laid out here, but it seems painfully clear from the start of the season, like, oh, the cycle of violence, where does it end? Who is in the right, really? If this was all from Abby's perspective and we never met Joel and Ellie, we would be on her side. So I think it would have been way more striking to have it be like, damn, she killed Joel. And then get to the end of the season and find out, oh, damn, Joel killed her dad? What? And then have that to ruminate on in the space, the inevitably long space there will be between seasons 2 and 3.
I think it maybe would have made us maybe not hit as hard with Joel. We had already known that he went into Terminator mode, killed a bunch of people. I think it would have been fun to have the reveal. I don't know if you're saying it should have happened in the beginning of season 2 or later. I think either way would have been put us a little bit more possibly on Abby's side in revealing that after all the crap went down.
I would like to think it was pretty obvious, regardless of them revealing it. This woman is gung ho on murdering specifically Joel.
Yeah.
So we would have to think to ourselves, either it was her dad, it was her sister who was one of the nurses, she was homies with Marlene, she was next in line to get the cure, was going to be the first they tested it out on. Like, of course, we would know there was some motivation with her energy going into it. So I feel like there was no point in kind of saving that as a reveal.
I feel like you can spend time wondering what the motivation is, though, instead of going like, oh, super justifiable motivation. Confirmed.
I hear you. I don't know that it would have made a difference for me, because I think that also there was just so much going on. There's so many reveals, and like I'm not a big as a TV person, I'm not a big fan of like twist, 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 reveal, reveal. I kind of like tell me what I'm working with, and then sometimes there's big shocking moments. Like to me, Joel dying is the thing. It's not, but why'd she do it?
Right.
Like
I think why'd she do it is a big thing. Like sitting there getting to wonder would have been
that's totally valid.
more
It's just not how I
engaging
feel.
to me. Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just talking about for to me.
Fair enough.
I think because that's what I think they're going to do with season 3 is because I think her reasoning, they're going to really give it to us deep so that we get really on Abby's side is my assumption. So we see it almost 50-50 from both sides. I assume. I don't know. I'm still Ellie and Joel always. That's where my heart is. But they can really mess with you in terms of the writing here because they're good at it.
Yeah, I agree. I also think there's still so much more to learn. Like, why was her dad the only doctor who could have possibly done this? How was he convinced to do this? What went into that? And you know how when we jump back, we get Seattle day 1, but just the same way that we got with Ellie, I'm assuming we're going to probably get some flashbacks of Abby. Otherwise, we're only starting 3 days earlier. I'm guessing we're going to probably get some motivation flashbacks, scenes that have to do with before just the last 3 days. And I'm still really, really curious to learn what was their relationship like. Why did he decide to do this? What did she know about what he was doing? I've always been really, really sus about the fact that we've heard that he was the only living person on the planet that could have possibly
that
do
could
this.
get the cure.
So
yeah.
I am interested to know more about him, regardless of when we learned.
Yeah.
Thank you. Clayton Crook is saying, just wanted to show some love and support to my favorite YouTubers. I'm sorry for all the difficulties today.
What happened?
We just could not get the first hour.
A lot of tech
the
issues.
buffering, and we had to restart the whole computer, and it was just nonstop. So you guys are getting to be the smooth part of the live stream. Yeah, we were the very clunky part of the live stream, but it happens. It happens.
Sorry.
Thanks for the support. Let's see here. Phenomenal Feldegriff, thank you for a very generous super chat. Tara, you want to read this one?
Sure. My favorite actress this season was Isabela Merced. Her rendition of Dina was, in my opinion, done much better than in the video game, and she gave an incredible amount of depth. Agreed. I can't wait for the fight between Abby and Ellie.
What do you guys think the fight between Abby and Ellie will be? You go first, John.
Jello in a kiddie pool.
That's what I love to hear. Maybe
Yes.
some mud bath.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bikini fight. That's why they weren't allowed to get buff this season. I don't know. I am almost expecting some subversion of expectations where, like, the fight. I gotta imagine at that confrontation there will be the urge to fight, but I just have to imagine that they're also going to do something to make it so that. I don't know. I'm almost half expecting someone to come in, knock Ellie out, and then we do a bunch of talking. Which would be fine. Which I'm
Start
glad
therapy.
Yeah. Tara, what about you? What do you think the fight is going to ultimately be between Abby and Ellie?
Well, I initially think Dina's going to come in there, maybe shoot Abby, but not kill her. I don't know. Maybe she falls over.
It'd be so funny if she just shot and killed her
Yeah.
first episode of season 3.
And that's it. And we don't get anything else. And then, but then obviously a talk has to happen to where Abby is saying, even though Elle knows, she has to make it clear, like, hey, you killed my dad, now I'm going to kill you. But now they're just going to be fighting about the same thing. Hey, you killed my dad too.
Kill my dad first.
Right? It's like, so I wonder how they're going to have that convo. I don't know how the fight is going to go down. It'd be fun to see them punch each other. But that's just me.
I think that this question is specifically referencing from the gunshot on, right? Like who are, when we hear the gunshot, who did that, who was it at, and then what happens in the moments following. Is that your guys'
I
understanding
think so.
of
That's
this?
where I was thinking.
I think that your call, while we were watching, and that you just reiterated now that the gunshot's actually coming from Dina, is probably what's happening. What she's shooting at or who she shoots. Do I think that Dina just shot Abby point blank and now Abby's gone? No, because that wouldn't be the best show. But I think it does make a lot of sense that the shot is actually hers and that it was a misdirect while we're watching Abby point the gun. And I would like to see that. I would like to see if we are able to, we have that big writing on the wall that says, like, there's a moral in everything. You just have to find it. And we heard the entire episode of Joel. The whole point is you just have to do better than your parents did before you. And let's not forget for a second here that as much as people are putting Abby's dad on a pedestal, this motherfucker still was about to kill somebody without their knowledge that they were going to die. He did not inform that patient, and that is against his oath. Do no harm. Do no harm. So this is supposed to be the it doctor, but he did not ask her or tell her what his plan was here.
Right.
So I have questions about her dad as well. Like we're thinking about him as the Messiah, the Savior, but in this conversation, are Abby and Ellie going to be better than their parents, both who have clearly made mistakes of some sort, varying degrees, I'll give you that, but neither whom are perfect. I don't think anybody in an apocalyptic world is.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in this world is. So I would really like them I would love to know if they're going to be able to be better than their parents, or at least one of them. And we'll see.
Yeah.
It's a great question you asked, man. Great question. Raunak, John, help me out here. Stress?
Raunak Zresta?
Well,
Shresta?
hey, Tara, was Joel's death narratively justified?
That's so seriously. Listen. Yeah. Okay. Narratively, yes. Am I so mad about it? Yeah. Could have they've written it another way or just not do that in the game? Yeah. I mean, people literally walked away from HBO after episode 2. I know 3 friends that were stopped watching the show because they were so angry and they were like, I'm not gonna support it. And I was like,
Non-gamer friends.
non-gamer friends. So obviously they didn't play the game, so they didn't know what's coming. They're just so torn up about it, which I get. But they did in the narrative, obviously in the writing, they definitely justified it. Of course. I mean, it's Abby's dad, and he went in like a Terminator and shot everybody that she ever knew to death. So I get it.
What about you, Roxy?
Roxanne.
Really quick, Roxy.
Yeah.
So we had a thing where, because Roxy runs the entire social media, and we had a thing beforehand. I was like, please don't post anything about Last of Us, and it was this and that was the main thing I was trying to make sure we avoided, was you getting spoiled about Joel's death. Did you suspect he would die?
No. Well, you mean like before the episode?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. And I heard Coy said that he knew it was going to come, and not because of anybody had spoiled it for him, but just he was such a genius that he knew. And I call BS on that.
No way.
Whoa.
Episode 2,
Whoa.
give me a break, Coy.
Coy was like, I was positive I knew
Yeah.
he was going to die after the first season. You have to know based on the story. And it was like, oh my God, come on. Maybe he just really is the genius of the channel. But no, I definitely didn't know.
Big brain.
That's your question? No, I definitely didn't
No,
know.
I mean, no. I was just asking as a side thing. But did you feel his death was narratively justified? I have avoided having so many direct conversations with you guys because I'm like, I don't want to accidentally say something. But how do you feel like it's narratively justified?
I don't think it's fair to answer the question until the end of the show. Because after it happened, after the end of episode 2, we all know in this room, minus Greg if you didn't watch ours, that I did not think it was narratively justified. I was like, I don't think this makes for the best version of this show. But I don't know, because I don't know
Right.
what the version of the show we're about to see is. So at that moment, I didn't, but I said it might be. We have to wait and see. By the end of season 2, I feel like it's more narratively justified than it was in episode 2. So that means they're building and they're gaining trust in me, or I'm gaining. I trust them more now because I think that they're showing me why they're telling this story, and I think I won't know the answer to that until we see really what the message they're trying to send is and what the end of the show or game is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like generally I'm kind of with the two of you in different ways. It's like I feel like it's a really striking choice to make, and it leads to a lot of interesting narrative drama. And then, I mean, yeah, it's their choice to, in the show's version of events, earn. But so far, I think they've made a lot of really great stuff out of it, and a lot of my favorite aspects of the season tie directly into that. So I would say yes. And I mean, again, given what the story, I feel like this would be a harder question to answer if they hadn't given us so much Abby motivation. But given what we know, I feel like, yeah, it was probably narratively justified.
Yeah, let's pop over to here for a second because
Yay.
I'm monitoring the chat before letting you guys see stuff to be safe.
Yeah, I hate not being able to see the live chat.
Yeah, I'm trying my. I just got to make sure you don't get stuff spoiled. There has been like future.
Are we
spoilers
allowed to
popping.
look at this, or you're checking it
I can.
now?
I
with
think
your
you guys,
eyes?
from what I've seen, I don't see any spoilers
Okay.
here.
I'm so
Okay.
blind that I can't even really.
I'll read some of them off.
Yeah.
I just need to move to
I'm
the
just
top
here for spirit animal and guitars.
There it is.
Mhm.
Did somebody
Uh,
say that?
Rob.
I-
Sorry. Joel's death is essential to the story they wanted to tell. I cannot fathom a way that the story this story works without that happening.
I agree. It seems like the story
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Joel was a product of his newish environment. Let's not forget that he was a great dad when we first met him and his daughter Sarah and a gay brother Tommy. Oh,
yeah, we know.
So I'll allow this for a little bit of a riff here then for you three. The part that the game does not give you at all is that whole thing with his dad, Joel's father. And I think that adds so much depth to Joel because, like, going off of this comment of being a product of this environment, a bigger part of the narrative is showing, like, no, there's kind of like a generational anger and rage that lurks in the Joel Miller family. From Joel's grandfather to Joel's dad, and now Joel being that, and then Tommy talking about wanting to break the cycle of violence. So
But
it's
I don't think that's what this is talking about, because it's saying Joel is a product of his newish environment.
1,000%. And I'm saying, like, do you guys agree with that? Because I would like, well, I feel like the show is actually showing that the newish environment breeded something that was already in Joel, is what I thought the show was saying. But what did you guys feel about now we got so much of Joel's backstory with his like dad and stuff?
I'm trying to understand the comment still. The new-ish environment is Jackson?
Is
so-
the
world
the
of the
world
apocalypse.
post-infection.
Oh, I understand. So is this person implying that what he did to save Ellie is part of being a product of this being a new world?
I think so. It might be part of the implication there.
Well, yeah, because this is a world in which having to kill people is more of a reality than before everything fell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And having to survive and be amid the elements and fight literally for yourself, forage for yourself. That's your newish environment.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, John, because kind of like a roundabout way of answering this question. But I was thinking about that last night as I rewatched the episode again, because you guys know I watch every episode twice because your girl's trying to really, this show is just unbelievable to me. But it is crazy that we get desensitized to things based on our environment. And like Ellie straight up walked in and she, for one reason or another, she murdered a man, a woman, and a baby that was not yet born. That's what happened. And like, if this was not an apocalyptic world, we'd be like, you can't just like come into a room and murder people. That's not chill, girl.
Well, she didn't want to.
But right, but like in this world, I do find myself justifying so many different things. Same thing even with Abby. Like she literally, Jesse walked into a room. He heard noise. He walked into a room. She shot him and killed him. There was no, let me shoot you in the foot. There was no, he walked in the room. She killed him for walking in the room. She doesn't even know who Jesse is.
Well, to her, everyone who enters that doorway is a threat, I'm sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we make excuses
Yeah.
for the people in this world based on this world.
Mhm.
And so, specifically on this question about your newish environment, everybody's a product of this newish environment. So it just depends on how many excuses we want to make for people. But this is why Tara and I all year, whether it is right or wrong, have been Team Ellie because of this conversation about community and Joel being great and me thinking he is great despite everybody saying he's a piece of shit online. Maybe he's a POS that we love. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and you saying don't forget that he was a great dad when we first met him to his daughter Sarah. It's like, yeah, I could never forget.
yeah.
and throw out the newish environment. He's just a dad again, operating to save his daughter. At the end of the day, he does not want his daughter, his newfound daughter, in this newish environment. Although I don't believe the environment even matters. I even think that even if there wasn't zombies and they were like, "You're going to save cancer," he might still do the same thing. I don't know. He might find a way to be like, "You're going to die. It's fine if I end up in jail, but I saved my daughter."
Yeah.
That's just what I think.
I'm very quickly. I'm kind of in the camp where like I feel like it's a little bit of both. It's like this is stuff that probably existed inside of him to begin with, but that has been brought to the forefront by this new environment.
Kevin Mandevil, thank you for the super chat. Wellness check for Roxy after last episode. I imagine your thumbnail face was from the Jesse moment.
Or they saw the social reel today.
Yeah. It's so funny because John and Greg are on my ass all the time about how I don't make facial expressions and emote during reactions.
No, this video, I was like, I know exactly what moment to go to for react faces.
I was laughing because I screamed at the top of my lungs. I've never done that before in
They're very
15 years of hosting.
Yeah.
I've never ever raised my voice on air the way that I did in that moment. So
Great moment.
I think, and I didn't even realize I had said this, guys, but I went back and watched our reaction. And earlier in the episode, I think it's like 12 minutes in or something, I said, I swear to God, if the show kills Jesse,
I
I'm
remember you
done.
saying that.
I'm done.
Oh.
And like, I don't know that Jesse had the same impact on the rest of the world that he did me. I know you both really liked him.
I thought Jesse was great.
Yeah, everybody liked him. But like,
Yeah.
for some reason, he was my favorite character.
Yeah.
So I can't believe that they did it to me again. Like,
Yeah.
I just can't believe that I fell for this twice. Like, I would have thought I would have been safer loving Jesse than loving Abby or loving Dina because it felt like they were
Totally.
going to be or Ellie, they're going to be in the line of fire. I was like, Jesse, we're chilling. So unwell and pissed. And also, did I Google immediately after how many people survive gunshots to the head? Yes, I did. And there are a
I love
percentage
it.
of people
There's
out
some
there.
who do survive.
It does
There's
happen.
some. There's
Especially because it was
some.
only one. I'm not
my
saying he's
God.
going to, but I'm just
I
saying the
love it.
Delulu is real in
It's
me.
Yeah.
totally.
He's
I
coming
love
back.
that.
Yeah, I think Jesse's better in the show than in the game, personally.
Hell
as
yeah.
a gamer,
Shouts
I do
out to your
prefer it.
boy Young Mazino.
Chris
Everything.
Guadalupe, thank you, says, I know you all don't want Abby's story. I've played the game. Please go in with an open mind for season 3. Trust me, you'll come around on her story. So, yeah, let's go down the table here. Are you guys actually looking forward to, or is it something that you feel like you're going to watch because you have to watch it for Last of Us 3, of knowing that it's going to be focused on Abby's Seattle day 1 and so on? Are you actually looking forward to that, or are you like, I'll do or does it feel like homework?
It doesn't feel like homework. I would say this. It's not that I don't want Abby's story. I certainly am interested in her story, and I'm looking forward to forming a real association with the character, because I think, especially due to what I know about the physical change in appearance, I feel like the physical appearance of Abby being jacked in the games gives you a lot to go off of immediately, just kind of on sight. Whereas right now, Abby is just a lady in the military to me. So, like, I'm waiting for some meat on that bone, and I think Kaitlyn Dever is a fine actor from what I've seen, but I don't really think anything they have done so far has given her, like, a real chance to stretch those legs and show me why she's such a momentous character on such a momentous show. I fully expect that.
Really? I didn't realize that.
I think her
I'm
like
shocked by hearing you say this, John, because you're the one who likes her. I love Kaitlyn Dever, but you're the one who likes Abby the most of all three of us.
I understand Abby because the show is making it clear what her motivation is, and I get her position, and it's very easy to be like, logically, I get her position, but I want to like have a bond or association with the character that isn't just, again, her in the midst of a violent, angry situation or something like that. And I have an open mind. I think it ties into the thing before. I would actually be more intrigued if I'm like, this character I've hated who killed Joel and I don't know why is all of a sudden going to be who we're about to follow for a season. Like, fascinating. Tell me more. So, I think it's as they have drawn it here, it's a fine hook, and I'm interested to see what happens.
I have a lot of trust in the show. Simply, if it's the same team, same writers, I trust them to pull out the same emotion and like gravitational pull of everyone towards this show as they will in season 3, which means if they go and do their job, people who, me, not on Abby's side, I hate, I want them to get in a fist fight and Ellie to win and Dina also to punch her, and for them to be like, you freaking suck. Like, what's your problem? You were hunting us for 5 years and then you had to kill my dad in front of me. Screw you. But because of what the team has already done with 2 seasons, they'll get me on Abby's side, that it'll be an emotional pull of, okay, I see why Abby is the way that she is. And listen, if somebody came for me or my family, you guys always, you know what I say. I'm like, oh, I become now the problem because there's something in me that goes from 0 to 60. It's a tiny hole that I look through, and nothing else can come to be like, don't do this. It's now I'm the problem. So I also understand Abby's perspective. You come for me or the people I care about, I'm going to come for you, and I become a liability. That's it.
You know what scene actually got me the most excited to go through Abby's journey? Is the Isaac scene that we see in this episode, as he's talking about Abby being the next Jesse of their community. When I started to think about, okay, so Abby's being trained to take over the wolves the same way that Jesse's being trained to take Maria's seat in Jackson, which means that they obviously, the show has tried to draw so many comparisons between Ellie and Abby, but really the positions that they're in are Jesse and Abby. They're doing the same thing in different places. And so I have to believe, from what we've seen from Abby, she's been super duper aggressive, right? We saw her outside of her father's gravesite. We saw her with the actual Joel death scene. We see her just shoot the love of my life, Young Mazino, Jesse. So in all these things, she's been so aggressive. But Isaac is so gung-ho and set on her being the leader of the wolves that I have to think there's a lot more to her than we have seen, which would make her a good leader. Because if you remember, Isaac's the one who murdered his entire crew. Isaac's the one who was like, boom, blown up, except for one homie who didn't know what a voter was and he spared him. So, like, what is it that Isaac sees in Abby? What is it that they all see in Abby? Why is she so equipped to be a leader? And so nothing about what we've seen from Abby so far has gotten me excited for next season at all. But hearing Isaac talk about Abby, I was like, I'm intrigued. Why are you down with this girl so hard?
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is you don't actually get a lot. That whole thing is integrated or made up for the show with that you just pointed out about Isaac's scene.
What's the woman that he's talking to's name?
I think she's a new character. She's actually a new character in the show. I forget who it is.
Okay.
Isaac also is played by Jeffrey Wright in the actual video game.
Oh.
And so he got a chance to reprise the role, and it's crazy because he looks so old in the video game, but it looks like surprisingly young. There's a lot of the Isaac scenes that you got here are not in the actual game. You don't really see that till you're in Abby's point of view. So they actually showed you a lot more of Isaac than you get at all. In the game, when you're in Ellie's story, everything is from Ellie's point of view. You never break away to someone else's POV. And same thing with Abby, but here the show obviously will cut around to different point of views or perspectives.
I think that's really smart because, again, I don't need to be a gamer to enjoy a TV show. It's a bad TV show if you had to have played the game in order to watch it.
Yeah.
So I think that it's really smart that they're making adjustments that make sense for TV fans. And having that drop from Isaac about her just made me, it's the only thing that's made me intrigued in her.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, on that note, Noel Beltran, thank you for the question, says, do you guys have any interest in finding out what was changed between the game and the show at some point, assuming you don't know any changes already? I mean, I could spitball fun facts for you guys off the top of my head if
I
you
wouldn't want to know until the very, very end of the show because I don't want something. If I'm still doing blind reactions and you tell me something that happened in the beginning of the game or the season 2 of the game, then my brain might go, I already know what's going to happen. Maybe?
It depends.
Okay.
Like,
Joel dies.
Yeah, you can't get any worse than that.
what I
tell you.
What I say about the difference is the show, the game is so much colder and meaner. Like when Joel dies in the game, you have no idea why Abby's doing what she's doing. The second Abby says something, Joel interrupts and says, "Whatever speech you got prepared, just get us over with." He pretty much just says like, "Don't talk, just do it."
Yeah. That's
Fucking
Joel.
mean and cold. They spit on Joel's dead body. So this show hugs you more than it. I mean, and you might not feel that as a blind reactor.
I do
but
not feel
but
that
as
way.
a game, like in the game. When Joel,
That's
I'll give
awful.
in the game when Joel dies, Manny spits on Joel's body, and then as Ellie's like, "I'll fucking kill you," Joel knocks her out. Manny knocks Ellie out. In the show, Ellie crawls over, hugs him, like Joel's being to death with the golf clubs. That's what I mean by it hugs you a little
But
more.
I wonder, I'm super curious, somebody who watches the show first and then plays the game, how
Yeah.
they feel. Because
Yeah.
everybody keeps saying that the show's coddling and coddling, but also you guys know what happens.
1,000%.
So of
Yeah.
course you're gonna feel like that. But like I
Yeah.
also wonder if this makes it actually more difficult in some ways because if you're just looking at somebody spit on them, like just be that cold, I might dissociate, not connect. Also, if
Yeah.
you're playing in the position of somebody, it might feel different, or it might feel the exact same way that you did. I don't know, but I am so curious. I haven't talked to one person who watched this and then goes to play, and I would love to hear. Like that's something I would be interested in when we're done. I don't play video games, but like you, Tara, I don't want to do it until everything's all over and wrapped. But I would be so curious and at least watching the scenes then, the cut scenes then, just to know like what is that like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I mean, I've gotten bits of stray context based off of what we have seen in the show thus far, and I'm never really seeking it, and I'm certainly actively trying to avoid anything beyond where we are. I mean, I've picked up certain things, and I find that stuff interesting. So yeah, I'm certainly like open to hearing what's been changed because I know that the experience of playing the game will be different, and you're also choosing along with the characters and stuff. One thing I will say is I'm curious to know what the actual scene in the game looks like with Joel, because I'd have made that a lot more brutal. I'd have Glenned him if it was my show.
It's meaner.
It felt
I'd be
like in the
fine
show
with
they
meaner.
cut it
Yeah.
off somewhere, and we're like, let's skip past this violence and get it done.
Yeah.
Did you watch all of Walking Dead, John?
I fell off the train a little after Glenn got Glenn.
Oh, okay.
I would have
asked
Glenned
you
him. Like I would have Glenned him.
Which spinoff of Walking Dead is your favorite, Roxy?
None of the spin-offs.
You don't like any of them?
No, just none of them would be my favorite. I thought they were. I only watched a few of Fear, and then I fell off of Fear. They killed my favorite character in the first episode, so I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of the Michonne one. What's his Daryl's one. But I think The Walking Dead is just like by far and away the best of them in the good seasons. Which one's your favorite?
Of the spinoffs?
Yeah.
It's probably Daryl Dixon. Yeah, Daryl Dixon. I was surprised the hell out of me. I really loved it.
I didn't finish it. I should.
All right. Okay, let's move on. Here, he's farm. Is it? I'll get your pillow,
Heaps
Roxy.
Farm.
Is it too
okay.
early to talking about spin-offs? Because I find the world fascinating, but grow tired of the VG versus adaptation BS. I just want good stories. Any characters here you guys want to spin off?
Just to be clear, Greg, there are no spin-off games, right?
I don't think so. There's like expanded media, like comics and shit, but there's no spin-off
Yeah,
games.
obviously Jesse and his girlfriend in
Jesse
the
spin-off
2-week
show.
trip that they did.
Yeah.
The 2-week love fest they had before she wouldn't leave. I mean, we already know the ending of that, but like, and also I know who can play her.
Who? You?
Yeah,
You?
obviously.
You think
Greg.
so? You think so?
What, are you kidding me?
You think you're capable of living up to the mantle of Jesse?
It's so rude. Do you think I'm not? God.
I suppose you are.
No, you is.
Gosh.
I
would
mean,
die.
I'm curious about what the prospect of spin-offs would be, because it seems like the point would have to be to tell some kind of audacious story with whoever you spin off. So they need to have like a really big idea. But short list, I mean, yeah, Jesse spin-off, let's go. Nick Offerman spin-off.
Oh yeah,
Apocalyptic
that's a
Romance,
great
let's
call
go.
too.
Just have like a whole slice of
That was
life
the best
series.
episode.
Zombies show up once or twice a season, or infected, I should say, and then the rest of the time it's just them living, picking strawberries, seeing scenes that we didn't get in that one episode.
You guys know the show Mythic Quest? I've
I-
been trying to get everybody to watch it. Nobody does. I'm so annoyed with the whole world.
I
I've
know
seen
that
a
it
few
exists.
episodes
Okay.
from the first season.
I'm obsessed with this show called Mythic Quest. I absolutely love it. It's a Rob McElhenney show, and it is so good about a game that is called Mythic Quest. And it's like if The Office was a video game construction place, like they make video games and it's an office workplace sitcom. It's so good.
Oh, that's
But they did a spin-off this year called Side Quest.
Yeah.
And on Side Quest, it was 4 episodes, and each one had nothing to do with the show that we watch. It just is in the same world.
Oh.
And, like, there's, like, one kind of through line with it. Like, maybe it's the people who are playing orchestra for the show, or maybe it's somebody who just wanted the most recent copy of the show. And we follow 4 different, every episode is a completely different scenario. And I'd be really interested, because I'm interested in the world that The Last of Us has created, and doing something like that where we just kind of see other places, other people, how they've been affected, but not for a whole show. Just like these one-off.
Do a short anthology
Exactly.
series or something.
Uh-huh.
And I do agree. It would be nice. Like, as much as there is fun, I find in the video game versus adaptation conversation, like, it can, after so many weeks, become a bit overbearing.
Yeah. John, you remember read that, since apparently my name's at the top of this.
Shamir Kelly, thank you so much for joining in, for being so generous. Greg, you're off camera, but I wanted to know. I recently watched the first few Diary of a Real Rejects podcasts with your brother, John, and the Media Nights. There's also a Roxy one.
Well, that answers the next question.
And those were great. Why did you stop shooting them?
I've been more focused on some other stuff. We're growing out some other things, and John and I are also we're redoing it to Real Rejects Diaries. It's different, but I want to keep the interview series going. There's a couple people I know I want to hit up. It's not done. It's just not the big focus, and it's more of like, yeah, I'm in the mood. Let's give it a go.
It's been put, it's been put back in the oven.
Yeah. But the one with Roxy went over really well. I'm really happy
I
about that response.
literally forced him to do that one, so that was like why he came back for that one. That is what happened there.
And then we got to have Tara on for sure. We got to have Aaron and Andrew on.
That's what he keeps saying.
You just
He
have to
never
force him the way
asks.
that I did.
Well,
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
new
Good
space,
point.
Twist his arm.
Just so you know.
at the new space, we're gonna have a podcast space there, so we're gonna be able to do more live streams. We'll also have fiber internet, so we won't have this buffering shit that we're having right now.
That's great.
Yeah, it's gonna be a totally different ball game, and Roxy's gonna love it because of where it's located.
Go
Shay
fiber.
Markel, Tara,
So far.
Your
Tara.
bloodthirst was hilarious.
Hey.
Yeah. I very angry. There was parts where I looked at our reaction. I was like, wow, okay, girl, let's get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say more. Tara, I think deep down you have a secret wealth of rage.
Oh, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think it's that deep down.
I think you should
No,
get
it's-
Jack
I think
and
it is.
be
It's
Abby
so-
next season.
It can really get. It's quick.
All right.
Like do something real bad, and I'm raging.
I want you to get jacked. I want you to hit the gym,
Me
beef
too.
those arms up.
Me
you
too.
know, and there you go. Get
Ooh,
those
that'd be a
huge
like
rock
a
shoulders
real
going.
threat.
Yeah.
Oh God, not the shoulders, John. No,
All right.
But
but
the
take
the
it back.
arms, yes.
We cut it off the
Shay
shoulders.
Markel is also, my God, load. No. Oh, no. We have run into a conundrum here.
What?
What?
I was gonna say, can we not go back up?
No, we can't.
What are you talking about?
All right, we gotta go the old-fashioned way, I guess.
One sec. No, we just got to get the show.
Oh.
It's we just need more to come in. Shay Markel saying, Jackson is screwed without Jesse. Who's the next mayor going to be? Seth?
Yeah, Seth spinoff. That's who I forgot to mention in the other question.
I mean, Maria's pretty young and has a kid,
Maria's
so
capable.
like I think she's is she capable for long enough until her kid to be 25? Probably. But also, Dina, I think, is a very, very smart, capable person.
Yeah.
Could also there's 100, 200 people in that town. More, one of them.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think it should be
Not
Gail.
Seth.
So,
not Gail. Not Gail. Not Seth.
some fun differences. Seth in the game only has the scene at the dance, and also when he gives the sandwiches, apologizes to Ellie.
Oh.
That's in the game.
Who gives them all the stuff for their journey?
No one.
Not
that
Seth.
is very different in the game.
Oh.
In the game, they wait.
I don't want to know. Actually, don't tell me.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's not. I don't think it changes any context. I feel like
Yeah,
they
I don't
actually-
want to know that one.
If you don't want to know, I will not. I will not force it in there.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can get. Okay, can you guys look away from the screen for 1 second? 'Cause
Sure.
There's one spoil. There's a couple of
I need
spoilers in here,
chapstick.
so I'm trying to make
John,
sure I
can
can
you
just
hand me my-
skip
I need
right.
bubbly water. I'm
My
gonna go
bag.
grab that
All right. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
Oh, you need bubbly?
Oh,
so badly. Something.
All right.
It's
I'll
so
get.
hot in here. I'm never.
Roxy's body temperature is never
Yeah, that's
conforming to what it needs to
100%,
be. It's
100%
either it's
true.
always too cold or it's too
No,
hot.
95% of the time it's too cold and I'm
It's too cold.
freezing.
I mean, can you take your jacket off?
It's a little
Why don't you
a
turn
little
that
scandy.
turn that fan off? fan on.
because Tara hates the fan.
Do you,
no,
Tara?
I don't care. You can
No,
turn on.
She hates the fan. I know she hates the fan because I know Tara. We're not turning the fan.
Well, does she just hate the fan, or does she only hate the fan when it's clearly cold
She hates
enough?
the fan
and
because
it's-
of her
and it's
hair. She
extra
doesn't like
cold?
the fan.
No, I don't mind. You could turn it on though if you're.
But I know
hot.
you don't like it. Why would I do
I
that?
won't. I won't mind it right now. I swear to God.
All
I swear
right.
to God.
Shay Markel is
I swear.
saying, I'm showing my friend the relative cutscenes after each episode. So far, she favors the game scenes besides Tommy's changes. I want to know your guys' opinion on Tommy. I won't spoil anything other than we have gotten way more Tommy than we ever got in the game. So, like, how do you guys feel about Gabriel Luna? Do you guys connect with Tommy?
Tara.
You guys go one at a time.
She favors the game scenes besides Tommy's.
Do not pull up the regular comments while I'm going to grab a bubbly.
changes.
What I gather is there's more Tommy in the show. than
Yeah,
the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
No. Don't you go get it because you won't even. You don't know which one I want. There's a whole thing. What is it?
Better be orange cream or she's gonna throw
What
a
is it?
fit.
What's left? Because maybe don't go. If it's mango, I don't want it. If it's cranberry, I don't want it.
I don't think he knows.
I have.
know.
I have a Topo Chico on hand if you want just
Love
plain.
Topo Chico.
Oh,
Yeah,
Topo
but let's see what he
Chico's
brings
good.
back. Let's see what he does. And maybe I'll do this and just like.
I kind of like in you saying that, Shay. It makes me a little bit very
best.
much want to watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, we
this
will
is much
eventually.
better than the fan going on.
Yeah.
They're all gonna agree.
We'll get more tips now.
Well, we haven't even. Nobody even socialed out that we were going live
Yes, we did.
on
We did.
Instagram. I looked and nothing was up.
We did that after the fact because there were way
Oh.
too many crises.
So it
to
is
do
on
it in the
Instagram?
moment. Yes.
Wait, Greg, while you're there, hand me my phone. I want to just make sure. Por favor, please, 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 please. Ooh, yes, that Waterloo. What is it?
Peach.
Nope, that other one. Yep, thank you. Love raspberry. Thanks, Greg.
I mean, I don't really know exactly. I already
Yes.
said I would
Oh
have
my God,
liked.
my ass is
I would have
killing
liked to see the cutscenes. I don't really have much more to say than what I just said.
I mean, I like watching Gabriel Luna a lot. I like his presence. I'm glad that there's more of him. I connect pretty well to him, and I like him and Joel. And you brought up that scene in the past with their father. That's one of my favorite scenes in the show, and the guy who plays their father made a huge impact, but also that scene spoke a lot to just like the vibes that they've been embodying, and certainly Gabriel Luna has been embodying with his presence, his relationship to Joel, all that stuff. So I love him.
I think that.
Sorry.
Did you want to go?
I'm going to say this really quick. Daniel Rami, we see your super chat. We want to acknowledge it. There is a spoiler in there, so I can't show it to them. And I will rephrase your question for them in a sec, but just want to shout you out, Daniel Rahimi, before I forget.
I think that Tommy is pretty problematic for Ellie, actually, because I love Tommy. He's very similar to Joel, who was also problematic for Ellie. And when we get that moment at the end in the auditorium of this episode, and you can see the juxtaposition of somebody like Jesse and somebody like Tommy and what they say to her, and what Tommy says to her is, they all had a hand in Joel's death, so I understand what you did, and you got to let it go for yourself. Like, but no worries, kiddo. And what Jesse says is, you don't understand community? How dare you go do this? Why don't you go after the person who's alive? And I feel like Jesse actually confronts and steps to Ellie, and whether it sinks in the moment or not, he does go like head to head with her.
Yeah.
Tommy
He doesn't have as much to be precious about.
Tommy is like feels bad for her and her position, and I think he just wants to make her feel better all the time. And I think that can be an issue. Even though I love his character, I'm glad he's on the show.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Really
Well
quick.
said.
We got some Streamlabs over here.
Let's go.
Let's go. Mike Joyce is saying, I feel bad for Bella Ramsey. She's great, but she's been overshadowed by Pedro, Isabela, and now Kaitlyn Dever in her own show. So, yeah, you guys haven't played the game. So, as non-gamers, what is your response to a comment like, what is your personal point of view? Do you feel like there's truth to this or not?
Bella Ramsey's
You could
pronouns
read
are
it probably
they,
there.
them.
Sorry, yeah. You could probably read it here.
I can read it better there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
There? That's wild.
Anyway, just went.
Yeah, Bella, they are great, but they've been overshadowed by Pedro, Isabela, and now Kaitlyn Dever in their own show.
I so disagree with this comment. I love Mike Joyce, but he said it before to me. I so disagree with this comment. I think that Bella, I think everybody on this show is amazing. I don't think there's one bad performance on this show, and I think that sometimes people get stuck in like the role versus the performer. I think that Bella is doing everything to leave their entire heart out on the floor every single scene, every time. Did you guys watch the after scenes with Bella, the boat stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They had to be in a wetsuit for like entire days. It's pitch black out. Like, it's just it is such a challenging role. I don't think anybody overshadows Bella at all, even though everybody's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree.
I mean, yeah, I think they give a terrific performance. The only thing I wish is that I bought the time jump a little bit more. But
Because how old does Ellie seem to you?
15, 16.
Really? Okay.
She doesn't seem like a 19-year-old.
She does not seem 19 to you.
No. And I mean, like, Pedro, I feel like, very much the conversation is it's Pedro and Bella. It's Joel and Ellie.
How old does she seem to you?
She seems like 16 to me.
Wow, she really reads as 19 to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Because
I'm
it's
happy
like
to hear that.
so. I just feel like that. Like
It's the swearing. Like she swears like someone who's still not quite used to it.
you're not the only person who feels that way. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people feel that way, John. So there must be something to that.
Coy says they swear like a white rapper.
But the reason I heard that. Can I tell you guys the reason that she reads kind of like a 19-year-old to me though? Because I've seen
Please.
this comment a lot. But like, think about the NASA museum, the Museum of Science and History that we ended up in Seattle, where literally she gets there. There's this dinosaur. There's this like she goes to go into the spaceship. He's like, go put on the outfit first. It's not something you would ever do at 19. You would do that when you're younger. You do that when maybe you're 8. But that's not the world she lives in. She lives in a world where she's had no childhood, 0. So I feel like at times she feels like she's 5 years old, playing and listening and playing pretend. And at times she feels like an 80-year-old woman who has like way too much on her shoulders. So it kind of nets out for me where I'm like, I don't know about 19 in this world, but in that world where she's like, let me go out, let me patrol, let me do all of this. It's giving teenager in general,
Yeah.
which you guys feel as well, just a little earlier. But
I don't get as much of the like old soul stuff.
you don't.
I don't feel that.
That's totally fair,
as
John.
much.
Totally fair. A lot of people are in your same exact camp. I don't know why. It's hard to put my finger on why I'm feeling that so much.
No,
but I am.
I'm thrilled that you are. And I mean, like, you know, in terms of the other actors, like Isabela Merced, I feel like doesn't overshadow Bella Ramsey to me because I'm really interested in their dynamic together.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Kaitlyn Dever, I don't think is, if for my taste, in any danger of overshadowing Bella Ramsey until we actually spend some time with her because I kept
Yeah.
forgetting she was in it until she showed back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Shine is saying, will Ellie ever truly find peace by the end of the show, or will she be left more broken than ever? What do you guys? How do you guys think it'll end with her for the character?
Knowing the vibe of this, my guess is the logical choice would be the latter. But part of me wonders if there is a way to get her to some uneasy version of peace by the end of this. I'm not sure.
I wonder if it's like an old soul thing where, you know, her and Abby, they fight, they talk it through, they understand you killed my dad, I killed yours, whatever. And then she lives like somewhat of a peaceful life with Dina and sort of gives up being like, I'm gonna be this leader who's gonna kill the zombies. And instead, she's like, well, I want to give Dina and my kid everything that they ever deserve, and she's they're a changed person. I don't know.
There is quite literally 0% chance that Abby, Ellie, Dina, their baby all make it out of
I
this
know.
Yeah.
scot free.
It's what I want.
But I love that you said that. I wonder in this question how we're going to define peace. Is there peace for her at the end? Does her dying mean peace? Because if it does, then I think that there's a possibility.
I guess to me, it's like, will she make a choice? Will she choose peace by the end? Is how I interpret this, basically.
If the Jesse death doesn't change her, I don't think anything will, because this is her last shot. This is her last shot at not going towards vengeance, and I have a feeling that she is not capable of making that choice. But we will see.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. Dan V900 is an interesting food for thought. 2-parter. There is something that is never addressed in the game and the show so far when it comes to the cure. How could they get it across America, let alone the world, get people to take it and prove it works? Quote, we have a cure, unquote. Okay, well, how will this even succeed? That's
You take people.
ads out in the newspaper.
Yeah,
say-
broadcasted on the radio. That's a really good question. And how do you have enough resources to like mass produce this thing?
I've talked about this for every single episode to the point where people now that I was able to go back and look at the comments are making fun of me for how much I bring this up, because you guys know what like I can't just turn off the logical part of my brain where I ask really intense questions that aren't what the show's about. But number one, I'm calling BS that this is the only doctor in the world that can get this cure. Number 2, if Ellie somehow is immune and this show keeps being like she's the only immune one, we know how she became immune. We watched that happen. We watched her be born, her mom be bit, and then she gets part of the juice in her, and then she ends up being immune. So then there's other ways to do that for people in the future, or maybe probably there are more people out there like that. So I can't even get past that part, let alone knowing for sure that based on one person's cordyceps in their brain that we 100% sure we could make a cure, and that cure could get to every person based on that one amount that we have. It's ludicrous to me. However, I did hear, I believe it was Neil Druckmann say this week, like he put it to rest about this, where people were like, was it even going to be possible that there was a cure? And he was like, yeah, for sure it was going to make a cure, or whatever the article said. I didn't click on the actual article because I didn't want anything spoiled, but that was the headline. Like, Neil Druckmann puts to rest that people think it wouldn't have actually made a cure. Quote, it would have, or some shit like that. Maybe Greg could see that full article.
I think it would have. I mean, the reason it would succeed is that you set it up like Gladiator. You say, hey, man, you're going to go in here and zombies are going to come eat you. You're going to have to be okay with it. We gave you the shot. If it works, then you'll make it out alive. If it doesn't, you're dead, and we got to keep working on it, but we'll pay your family $10,000.
I think it's
People
more.
will go, all right, sign me up. Well, I'm going to die in a couple weeks anyway. We're living in a zombie apocalypse.
I think it's more interesting to be able to wonder if the cure would have worked or not, but at the same time, I guess it's more dramatically effective to be like, it would have. I don't know. I feel like if they can make a cure, they can get it out there somehow, but, you know, I could easily see how you wouldn't. It just seems like a whole other problem, but, you know, there's enough organization in this universe that, like, I'm sure some people would die during the dissemination of the cure, but, like, you know, if you spread it far and wide enough, you could probably make some kind of meaningful shift in the, you know, fall of mankind.
What if Ellie has a baby?
That's a great question. Let's find out.
The thing that comments are keep reiterating is that we know that as the audience how Ellie is immune, but not even Ellie knows how she became immune or anybody else.
No, that's definitely true. I'm not saying that they do. I'm just saying I think there's probably, if that's the scenario that it needs to take for you to be able to be immune, then there's no way she's the only person on planet Earth that happened to.
Right. That's true.
In
There's
all
gotta be
these
someone
years.
in all the way across the world going through the same thing.
And Danby
Yeah.
900 also says, I'll say when the OG game trailer came out in 2016, most people went, oh, Joel is dead and a figment of Ellie's imagination. I don't know why. I don't even remember the trailer. It's the way it is shot as he comes into frame. Oh, yeah, there was like a teaser they made that wasn't actually part of the game. Then the game comes out and everyone's like, wait, he dies? Gamers weren't so smart in 2020. Little shot at the gamers there.
It's a little
Love
fun
it.
tidbit.
Let me just adjust this really quick. So sorry, everyone. So sorry.
Sorry, Gilly.
Sorry.
Let's see if this is working here.
Gilly.
And really
Thank you,
quick,
John.
let me find this person. Okay, I don't want to spoil.
So we need to be looking away. You got to tell us.
I would say I'm going to turn off the chat from the screen for a little bit just for safety as I ask
okay.
this question.
Okay.
Daniel Rahimi, he sent in a super chat that says expectations for season 3, but then there's like a couple little spoilers here I don't want to like give away. So with that in mind, what are some expectations that you guys have for season 3 that you are actually hoping they truly like fulfill? Is there anything like cathartic or whatever that you're actually hoping they do release, whether it be through Infected, whether it be through Abby or Ellie? Like, what is there a specific expectation that you're really hoping to see be brought to fruition?
I have one. I want to dive into the Feel Her Love Scar stuff. I'm super curious because even in this episode, we walk by again and Ellie says to Jesse, there's more of them because it's a different looking woman. And I don't know whether this is like a Jesus Christ scenario where, but depending on who's painting them, they look different, or whether this is, I just don't know anything about the scars, the prophet, anything that happens here. So I'm super curious about this. We keep referencing the Feel Her Love stuff, and I'm curious about it.
You guys?
I think my expectation, I've already said it before, but I think what I would be really excited to see, I currently hate Abby.
Yeah.
If they can write it and bring me into season 3 where we open up, she's looking over this beautiful They took out a state.
I just want season 3 to be gayer.
Like more Dina, Ellie, or more characters that are gay, or
Anybody, man.
you just want it to be queer?
I just want it to
Okay.
be the,
Queer it
the
up.
queerest season yet.
Homosexuality.
Yeah, man.
Let's
hey,
do
you
it.
know,
Speaking of which, you have
queer
an
folks
interview
be
coming out
thriving.
that I don't want to tell anybody about, but I thought that was a really interesting answer that somebody gave you about
yeah.
that is relevant to what you just said.
Oh, that makes me feel
Yeah.
good. I was kind of I was worried I didn't get enough juice on that.
No, I thought that was really cool. Again, I don't know if people know what I'm talking about, so I don't want to
yeah.
say it. Okay, great. Well, when they see it, then they'll know.
Okay, we're gonna try this out. Robo96, do you think The Last of Us could suffer the further away we get from Joel? I feel like it makes the same demands from the audience as Joker 2, which, to paraphrase Tara, it's like trying to retrain our brains in a bit of a jarring 180. Who
Did
wants
you
to
not
take
see
this
Joker
question?
too? Is that why you said to paraphrase Tara?
Did I see Joker too? Yeah.
she
Oh.
reacted
I,
to it.
I watched it on the channel, I think.
Who wants to take this question?
Somebody take it away.
I think it is a hazard. I mean, like, the further we get away from Joel, and you can't do a Saw where we just bring him back for flashbacks like all the time. So it is on, especially I feel like we have enough association with Bella Ramsey to where hopefully people will stick for that, but it is sort of, I think Abby needs to become an even stronger, more gripping character as of the show to bridge this gap. There's no way that isn't going to loom, and it seems like in season 3 we will have less opportunities to do a Joel flashback or a Joel thing, and I could see that hurting the show, actually.
Did you see him rap on set, John?
No.
It felt very much like a goodbye,
Forever.
everyone. I have loved working with you guys. Like Pedro's rap felt so rap like that.
Yeah.
I think it confirms what you're saying.
Really thought you were saying rap song. I really thought this was
No, he just the way he said bye to
My name
everybody.
is Joel.
Yeah.
I'm here to say.
I actually feel a little bit differently. I think that the show will suffer way less the further away we get from Joel, because I think it's been really hard all season to concentrate because I miss Joel. And I'm thinking about Joel, and I'm comparing it to Joel, and I'm comparing Tommy to Joel, and I'm talking about Ellie with Joel. And I think just like most deaths, it doesn't get easier as you go on, but you adjust. And I think that as an audience member, I'll be easier able to adjust to his absence in season 3.
For show. That's a great answer.
Well put.
J.A. Dub. Love to see a reaction to the game cutscenes. Just wait about 3 years and you'll get it from this
Yeah.
game.
Is that so? I don't actually know
Come.
the schedule of this show. We're doing a season 3 next year and a season 4 the year after.
That's the goal they have in mind.
That's their goal.
Yeah. Hopefully. I haven't shot season 3 yet. I feel like they should have shot them both back to back. I think it would've been smarter.
Agreed.
6 months apart probably would have been smarter.
Agree.
Jonathan,
But there's a season 4 or no?
they want to do it.
Yeah.
They want to wrap it up in the next 2 seasons. Yeah.
3, 4.
Jonathan Garcia. Let me make sure I reread this question. Okay, never mind. It's fine.
He said the
Says,
game.
I
Okay.
just bought the game today. I need to know how this ends now. I can't wait for the next season to find out or have it spoiled for me. How are you guys feeling about that on this journey of like the biggest spoiler is like there's big things that happen for sure, but the biggest spoiler is Joel dying. Like this
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to top that no matter what they do.
Yeah.
But there's big, pretty huge ones to come as well. But do you guys feel like it's going to be hard to avoid spoilers? Are you like kind of worried about that? Like
I'm
Roxy
not-
covers so much TV, is on so many different news things.
I think there's zero chance this isn't spoiled for me.
Well, the fucking Joel death wasn't spoiled for you.
I
That's
know.
shocking.
I know, which is crazy, but I also wasn't covering the show
Mm.
for season 1. I talked about it a little bit on my show, but for this season, I was covering it for Real Rejects, for DJ, for Christian, and for my own channel and on social media. So it just was like, I really tried to block out all the noise, and I didn't look at any of the comments, which you guys know is difficult for me.
Yeah.
But now that we are the team, I feel like people are vicious and rude, and unintentional sometimes. Like where they drop something that
And they hold it against you for not knowing.
yeah, like I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. But early on in season 2, somebody sent me something like, "Just wait till you get to the dog this season," and I was like, it never came. But I thought that was a spoiler, so it's like
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Whose dog? What dog? Where dog?"
Oh, that would have killed me.
Yeah.
Eh?
Greg, I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, it's we
Okay.
talked about it during the game part of this live stream.
So it's something that already would have happened, right?
It's something that I believe they cut out from the show.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
'Cause
I
I
don't
don't
even-
want to see it.
So I don't even know what that meant. And
Like-
I was like,
There's a couple of like survival things that have happened where you're like, oh, well, not with any major characters, but
Is
other
Michael
characters.
Myers a dog?
I don't even want to know. Don't you dare tell me.
I'm less worried about spoilers now than before.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Ladrack1, what were your thoughts? By the way, if you guys want to get any super chats in, this is the last of the super chats. We got to stick to schedule today, and we've had enough delays. But thank you for everyone who's been patient with us today. What were your thoughts on the Take On Me scene in the music store specifically? That's a totally miserable scene in the
Missable.
game, but is one of the best. Who wants to take it?
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I mean,
missable,
I'm surprised it would be missable
not miserable.
at all, but I thought it was really great.
Oh, missable scene. Yeah.
Because Greg? Did you find it miserable in the game?
No. I was just.
Okay.
I was not computing. Oh yeah. It's like.
He hasn't learned to read.
It was one of the best scenes in the show. Yeah, absolutely. I like that they take time, especially in an environment like this, for the communal quality that music can have, and I enjoyed the kind of harkening back to the first season, the bond that Ellie and Joel shared through music, and her carrying that onward as part of what he left to her and part of what she can use to connect with people like Dina and other folks. Like I thought it was really nice.
Yeah.
I totally agree. The
I
art
agree.
design in that scene. Desperate to know what movie was playing. Sick,
Oh.
sick.
Oh yeah, what was on the marquee?
But I love Seattle. I'm like I've been to Seattle probably 50 times in my life. I love the city of Seattle. So I actually think it's really fun to see like it's a music city. So when we go to the music shop and even like the posters that Ellie has, knowing she's a music head, it's just I think that there's way more to explore in Seattle. Going back to an earlier question, things I would love to see is more of Seattle, and like the gum wall in Seattle, right? The famous gum
sorry,
wall.
It's buffering badly. Okay.
You want to use the ice pack under there for whatever? If you think it'll work, I don't care.
One in here.
If you need it, it's just in my bag.
Sure. Let's just do whatever then.
I think he meant.
However you want
yes,
to do it,
please?
John, you can just grab it. I don't want to.
Can
do
I
it
reach
and
in
then
here?
Have you guys be like,
Can I reach in here, Tara?
here's this. This is probably exactly.
I'm gonna put this back down.
Yeah.
What a MacGyver of a situation.
Do you guys want to know something funny about me?
Sure.
Yeah.
When I started working for AfterBuzz back in the day, when I would take out my own computer, it was so old and it would get so hot, and I would always melt my chocolate on it because I love melted chocolate. And one time somebody walked in on
That's
me
funny.
melting a square of
melting
chocolate,
it on there.
and they were like, "What the fuck? That's why it's so slow." And I was like, "No."
Oh, that's great.
All right. Streamer smooth right now. So let's take advantage of the moment in time.
I don't know what I was saying. It must not have been important.
Does anyone remember? Can someone help me out here?
Something from before, something you wanted to see, piggybacking off of the Take On Me.
More
scene,
Seattle,
more
the gum
Seattle,
wall. Thank
gum
you,
wall,
John.
Yeah.
Like there's the gum wall, the famous gum wall in Seattle, or like where they do the fish throw. There's all this stuff there that I'm curious, like, what's there? What's in Seattle? I don't think this show. Where does the show shoot? In Canada?
Oh, I have no idea.
That's
But
a great question.
it'd be interesting for them to create more of Seattle and us to
Yeah.
see more around while we're there.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
It
Would be cool.
Someone said Willy Wonka's PC to your comment, to your story, Roxy.
Oh, they heard my chocolate
yeah,
story?
they actually heard it.
That's funny.
Yeah, they film in Canada. Mr. Easier Toley, what did you think about the pregnant lady scene? How do you think it affects Ellie's psyche? I really thought Ellie would try to get the baby out. Would you have tried to get the baby out?
Yes.
This is the
I don't
Mel
know why
scene?
she didn't.
Yeah, the Mel scene.
The Mel scene, yeah.
I was like,
I don't know if they're talking about Dina.
Yeah, the Mel scene.
We're gonna really fast track this baby, Dina. You better get that thing
Dina
out of here
gets
tonight.
shot in the leg. They go in for
Shot, they're
surgery.
like, we gotta get the baby out of here.
Get the baby out.
No.
It's still just like an embryo.
This
but
is what we
whatever.
do.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tara. Go ahead, babe.
No, I just thought it was weird that, when she's like, oh, is it out? Is it out? Oh, he's beautiful. And the mom dies. And then she just like slowly puts down the knife. I'm like, no, I would absolutely cut into her belly. There is still a chance the baby can still survive.
But Tara, then what, babe? Then you're gonna take care of the baby?
You gotta
Dive in the water.
You gotta figure
Yes.
it out. You gotta
Newborn
figure
into my
it out.
raft.
You gotta
Pedal.
figure it out, kids. Come on now.
Use the motor with one hand, swaddle the baby in the other hand.
I don't
This
know.
was such a brilliant performance by Bella in this moment because you can see all the things in her mind, right? Like she did not
scene.
mean to kill Mel.
right.
The bullet did. This was like the magic bullet theory, man. It went right through this homeboy and right in Owen, and then right into Mel's neck, and just the way that reveal was brilliant. But Bella really, you can tell the Ellie's intentions are to cut the baby out. Like when she comes over and she's trying to listen, then you're looking at his stomach. This girl dying is delusional. She's like, you're doing great. She hasn't done anything. And then you have to, and you see her thought process, Ellie's thought process of, what the fuck am I going to do right now with the baby? I'm trying to escape.
yeah.
Well, that and I think it felt like an honest sentiment. Like it felt like a moment of shock,
Yes.
like overwhelm. Like
I don't know how to do
actually
this.
don't know what to do. And
Also,
I can't-
how far along are you? Like,
Yeah.
is this like a viable? She seemed far enough along that the baby could be okay, but I'm sure she's a child, so she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that thing of like, I guess any number of us could sit here and go like, well, I'd at least try cutting in there. And I mean, she is giving her like the instructions, but in a way where it's like it's very plausible as to how you wouldn't pick them up properly. That whole scene was great. I thought that
She
was
says it's
terrific.
one cut, and then don't forget to tie the tubes. It's
What-
like, yeah, that's all it is. One cut, tie the tube, done.
I
Like,
thought she would
alright.
make an attempt, but I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah,
I
me
liked how
too.
it played out.
Me too.
And it's definitely going to do a number
John,
on
would
Ellie's
you
psyche.
or not?
Cut the baby out?
That was the last question. What would you have done?
I would have probably tried, but I feel like most of us would probably actually have just done what Ellie did or didn't do, Yeah.
Such is life.
And it's totally going to affect her psyche because there's no way you can control a situation like that,
Tiffany Sullivan, how are you guys feeling about the Seraphites?
Are those the scars?
Scar hammers, yeah.
I
Gotcha.
think scars is the offensive term, and Seraphites is the actual.
I want to go back to Scar
Are they-
Island super bad because we just saw Isaac take off for Scar Island, and we're seeing fireworks and a battle. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling interested in them. I told you one of the things I'm most interested about is Feel Your Love. Curious about that. But also, they seem like the most vicious of the people that we've come across so far.
Do they say Seraphites in the text of the show ever?
I don't think so, but I know that
We've
everybody
Yeah.
only heard them as scars.
Yeah.
Seraphites, correct.
Oh,
I think in the
okay.
Isaac scene, he corrects when he's being tortured. When Isaac's torturing that one Seraphite, I think the
Oh.
Seraphite corrects him.
Really?
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. I think they make
I'll
a
take
point
your
of
word
like
for it.
acknowledging it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that I'll only step to you on that because I'm pretty sure that people have been saying they don't use the word in the show,
Really?
but I'm not sure. You
Maybe
can
I'm making
Google
it up.
I'm not sure.
Hey, my memory's
I don't know.
not good. And we're talking with 3 out of 4 of us who have really bad memories.
I
Yeah.
just real
Does John
quick,
have a good
I
memory?
like that they whistle
It
to
depends.
What
tell
movies
them
and
to
shows he does.
stop, go, or kill.
Depends on what it
That's
is.
what I appreciate.
What did you say, babe?
I like that they have a whistle combo
Yeah.
to
You're a
to
big
stop,
Seraphite girl?
go, or kill. I like that.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
that was whistle once, that was pause, that was whistle
Yeah,
twice. Yep,
that was whistle
means.
kill.
Remember when we saw them
yeah.
even like walking at first when we
Yeah.
see them with the hammers and they're doing their walk and you were like, that whistle was pause, whistle. I
Yeah,
know.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved
I
it.
got a lot of people saying they do say Seraphites in that scene. So, yeah,
Okay.
Okay, then you're right. In the
Alright.
show.
in the show.
I,
Yeah.
Wow.
I asked because I
sorry.
wanted to know. So.
Yeah. I had just seen everybody say that they don't call them that in the show.
Well, you
but-
mainly hear from the other side of you hear them call them scars because scars is like the it's not a real.
But
thing.
no, but that's a
a
good correction,
derogatory
'cause
word
that-
for them. But I don't ever feel like I'm being offensive. It's made up bullshit.
not
That's
right.
yeah.
No, that's a good correction. Thanks for letting us know, Greg. And
Yeah.
chat people.
All right. So last couple ones here. Can you guys look away from the screen really quick?
Da-ba-da-ba.
Just to
Ooh,
make
lovely
sure.
patchwork your sweater is.
Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Oh
Oh,
no.
Sankey.
Oh
Boop-a-doo.
no.
Boop-a-doo.
Okay.
Dun 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 dun
So
dun.
okay,
You
there's
did,
one
John.
here I
Yay.
don't want to miss. We just can't show it on screen for some reason. Just sending.
We can look back.
Yeah, you can look back. Or if I do this.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, there
the
you go.
dimensions.
Oh, hell yeah. Whether they can make a cure or not from S.H.I.E.L.D. Markel, or if Ellie consented or not, is it ever okay to allow a 14-year-old to be responsible for the fate of humanity?
So, guys, a great
It's a good
philosophical conundrum to debate.
If she's dead, then I guess, yeah, because she won't know.
I mean,
Then it won't be all on her shoulders, but
is it ever okay?
probably not.
I don't know. I mean, I always found it interesting that Ellie does have that thought process of like like my life could have meant something, and you didn't give me a chance to decide whether I wanted to do this. And to be fair, they didn't explain the situation fully either. But this is a good question. I feel like there's no good answer for this. Like nobody wants to kill a 14-year-old. But if it's
Right.
the fate of humanity on the line, it's the classic like train car trolley problem, you know.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the human being. I mean, like as you said, Ellie was saying my life could have meant something. I think it depends on the kid and how they're functioning.
I think multiple different things on this. Number one, we can't even get there because she didn't consent. So this question, she didn't consent. But number two, the age of consent for this, I don't know what that should be, right? Like in this country, some age of consent is 16, some is 18, some is 21. Depends on what we're
Yeah, what we're talking
like
about.
what kind of thing we're consenting
What is the
to.
age of savior consent?
Right. So I don't know what it should be, but here's what I do think, and this is one of the qualms that I have with their team, with Abby's dad. Teach somebody else.
Mhm.
Take your time
Mm.
and teach somebody else what you're effing doing.
Totally.
You're the only person who can do this. Why do we have to do it this day? Why don't we talk to her, see what she's comfortable with, when she's comfortable with it? Why don't we train a bunch of people? Why don't we, instead of just like sleep attack pushing her in there, why don't we plan for this a little bit more? And then, like, I don't know what age you would feel comfortable, Shay, or what age we'd feel comfortable, but say we decided 16. Why don't we research her brain? Why don't we look into it? Like, why don't we spend any time on this other than like cut her open? Don't tell her why. What?
Well, we don't know what they've done up until this point.
They've not told her,
Minus,
so-
well, yeah,
And
no,
we
I
know
agree.
he's the only person who could do it, so we know he hasn't trained anybody else.
Well,
and
the
we-
only person nearby anyway that
No,
we're
that's not what they
aware of.
say. The only person on it.
Well, of course they think that. Like I could imagine in a headcanon how someone across the world may have also been led to a similar conclusion.
I agree, John, but it still doesn't change the fact that we know, when you say we don't know what they've done, we know he hasn't trained anybody else to do this, and we know that they haven't told Ellie. Those are facts that we know.
Well, I mean, that's fair, yeah. I mean,
But
there's
they
you
could've
can
done
only
other
have so
stuff.
many surgeons on hand in the apocalypse, I guess.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Bonnie said, just sending some love to everyone. Thanks for dealing with the stream, even the tech issues. We've made her day. She said, Happy Veterans Day, but isn't it Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Memorial Day. And to those lost but not forgotten, hey,
Well,
that's
she
right,
said the
Bonnie.
right thing. She said to those lost but not forgotten,
That's
that is
true.
Memorial
That
Day.
is
You just
Memorial
said the
Day.
wrong word.
Mm,
And it is to veterans that are being memorialized.
Totally.
absolutely.
You
Thank
gotta
you.
love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
And Shay Markel, final one of the day.
Hey.
Old utilitarianism is pretty much always bad in my book. Soon we justify harming infants for humanity's survival. What a great note to end on right there.
Absolutism is also tricky. I would say. I guess this is the debate. Yeah, like utilitarianism as a complete ideology 100% of the time is probably not a great idea, but also absolutism is also a tricky idea. And I mean, if it be the natural order of things that humanity not survive, that's a choice. But also, again, if one life can literally transform and save millions and billions potentially, I don't know.
I agree, John. I think that was a leap, my dude. Like, soon we would end up, this is like the same argument people use all the time. And I'm not saying that you just did this, but like, when people are like, soon people are going to want to transition into cats. And it's like,
People are going to want to
That's
marry
not-
their turtles.
that's
yeah,
right.
or
And it's like,
whatever it
that's
is.
not actually the same thing. It's just
Right.
not the exact same thing. But who knows? You could be right. Shay.
The where does it stop of it all is a reasonable thing
Yes,
to ask,
totally,
you know,
totally.
certainly. And utilitarianism, certainly in this context, hazardous,
Yes, hazardous.
but also
Yeah.
there's a conversation to be had.
All right, the last one here. Would you three be interested in playing part 1 here, Esteban Pinzon?
Esteban.
Duh.
I mean, I'd be down, sure.
I would
That'd
love
be
to
super
watch
fun.
you guys play.
That would be fun as hell. It would be the first video game I played in a long, long time.
Tara and I trade the controller, and then Roxy does like commentary. over
Yeah,
us
Roxy
while it
comments on the game. That would be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay,
But actually, for sure, Greg.
I want to. Yep, I don't want to go back to the main chat on screen because
Okay.
you never know. It could be one person who decides to spoil everything.
Okay, so we don't look, or we're just saying bye.
Let me see how I can maneuver this in a way where
Okay.
we
Ellie
can
is
say-
actually Joel in a kid costume.
okay. If I do this, no, this ain't gonna work. No, we should just say bye.
Ellie
Yeah,
is
okay,
Joel.
it's right in
Alright.
front of my face.
Yeah,
I'm like,
this is impossible.
I don't know what's
I
on
can't do
there.
it. I'm worried, but thanks to everyone who's like. There's a lot of people who have been here since the very beginning of the
Aw.
stream
Thanks
and
for
have
sticking
stuck
with it.
around all these hours. Thank you so much for being here and especially contributing to the super chats and just your presence here and helping out. Whereas we experiment with this after show stuff. But last things you guys want to say?
Love you.
Yeah, thank you guys for making us feel. Again, it's been a tricky back and forth due to the spoileriness of potential comments, but like it's still been quite a joy to be welcomed into the conversation surrounding this show and to get to take it in and to feel echoes of what people felt playing the game, you know, and then feel what a lot of us are feeling for the first time, sort of in unison with all the first timers out there. Like this still remains, for whatever there is to debate about the show, a really striking experience and a it's very cool communal telly that we don't get as much anymore. So yeah, I've had a great time and I'm looking forward to more.
That's true. This has built like a bigger community, and even though you guys know that we're in the blind reaction, so we don't know all the juice, it's nice to feel even still welcomed in this aspect of the show. And I think, you know, for those of you who aren't yelling at us like, why didn't you know? For the rest of you guys have been great. That's why I said love you.
Appreciate y'all.
I was dying to cover this show and was not here last time, and then wasn't invited to this until like 36 hours before you guys decided to do coverage on this. And it was like such an immediate, like, I will move every part of my schedule. I'll do whatever it takes to be here because I love this show so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
No matter what they do, and it was just so much fun being able to watch with you guys this season. I think we have such different perspectives on the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
and it's cool, and you guys changed my mind about things. So
I'm glad you joined us.
yeah, I'm
It's
really,
fun.
happy to be here.
Yeah, I think the Last of Us reactions here are some of the best things that we've ever concocted here at Real Rejects. Doing the gamers one and the blind one, like two very different
Good
types of
call.
reactions. I think has
Totally.
been really cool, and like we hear it all the time in our actions. Like what you guys provide here is like the actual thing that people really want is that real experience of like first time experiencing this shit, and it's so cool to see like your engagement is way stronger than even the gamers reaction, and it's really cool to see how much people have loved and just flocked over to you guys, like even like getting
Keep
recognized
on
with
flocking.
Roxy getting recognized, not even me is like such
you
a
guys see
telltale
that?
sign.
When we were at,
I saw
Greg and I
it.
were on Hollywood Boulevard, and somebody had been watching the three of ours Lasso's
Oh,
reaction, and they were like,
funny.
"Miss Roxy," and they look at Greg and no idea who he was.
Can
No
you
idea.
take the
Yeah.
picture?
It was
Yeah.
so fun.
That was
Yeah.
the same thing that you reposted the other day, where I said I met a
yours,
fan
yeah.
at Lucky Strike, and she said the Last of
Last
Us.
of Us
It
is
was
cool.
it was all of us that she's watching.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's been fun.
I think it's a really cool journey, and so thank you guys for doing this part of the Last of Us side.
Thank you. I mean, you know, this came out of your big brain in a lot of ways, so we have you to thank.
Well, you guys are the ones doing the actual work.
I'm not gonna thank
Thank-
him because we're the ones here working.
If Tara were to thank me,
He would be
that's the
surprised.
last thing Tara ever does. It's the last thing
This is my
does
fist
on this
pump
podcast.
for
I
you,
do
Tara.
not know Tara
This
as
is
someone who
devastating,
ever
Tara.
says something
This
nicer
is so
thanks
devastating,
me.
Tara.
It's true.
Tara, dear God, honey,
That's oh
thank
my
you.
God, I'm so sorry. It's true. Me and Greg's relationship is like I'm mean to him, so that's how he knows I love him. and that I am grateful for him. But that's just how it works.
That's how
I'm
I
not like,
No, to keep
thank you
reminding
so much,
myself.
Greg. You're a great person. Ew, sounds nasty coming out of my mouth. No.
I'm trying to end this. How do I end the stream? Where is it? Oh, it's right here. My bad. I can
Trying to
figure it
end
out.
this.
I'm trying to like hit the end button, but no. We got to get Tara justifying being verbally abusive.
It's all worth it for that.
All right. Peace
They
out,
get it.
everyone. Thank you.
Well.
Bye. Keep saying bye till this is over.